ballistic missiles. I sort of was going up and down between shelter and a balcony to check the situation throughout the night. There was no sleep for anyone in the capital because of this. And really, in regards to these drones, I mean, this is just terrorizing Ukrainians. They're not hitting, as we can see from the site behind me. This is residential buildings. And they were launching this across, again, every single district in Kiev was hit today because of these Russian attacks. And even with Ukraine's air defense working extremely hard, these aerial targets managed to get through. And it was just, you know, what we're seeing right now, and we've reported in the last few weeks while we've been here, is Russia also ramping up its attacks, a grim but familiar pattern, on hitting Ukraine's energy grid. So what Russia tries to do is freeze Ukrainians into submission now that winter has arrived, cutting Ukrainians off from power, heating, hot water, leading to rolling blackouts across this country, particularly even in the Ukrainian capital. I mean, this week, again, every day there have been long periods of blackouts. Last weekend, we saw people going without power for 12 hours here in Kiev. So if anything, I mean, again, we are far from the front lines. So you see that Russia is continuing its relentless assault on civilians, but then also making this renewed offensive push in the east of Ukraine now that peace talks have stalled, showing that Vladimir Putin has no intention of negotiating anytime soon. Back to you both.
Thank you for that report, Shelby.
Yeah, and please stay safe in all your reporting. Thank you.
We're recapping the show when we return. First edition, we'll be right back after the break.
Rick Leventhal reported on the biggest stories of our time. Now he's fighting to bring you the truth, no matter what it takes. Watch The Leventhal Report, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax 2.
Hi, folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
The poverty is unimaginable. There are people who are struggling.
This is where she washes the dishes.
If you're ever going to allow your Christian faith to rise and to do something for God's chosen people, now is the time.
This is the home of Galina. She's 96 years old.
This is what she had to eat for today.
She has one pot with water and wheat.
My father was killed by the Nazis, and I was an orphan. I didn't know about God. But now, in the cold, hungry nights, I pray for food to the God I've never known. There are good people that love you.
You see the tears. Scripture says joy can come in the morning, and you can be the reason.
Right now in Ukraine, elderly Jews are trapped in unbearable poverty. If you will bless these hurting children of Israel, you will receive God's blessing in return. Your urgent gift today of $25 will help rush a survival food box filled with life-saving essentials. Call, scan, or go online now.
I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, I don't know how much longer she could have waited for us to come.
I can't even grow my food anymore. What will happen to me? I'm doomed to starve.
Tens of thousands of elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union are living in extreme poverty, hungry, and forgotten. But through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, we can bring them hope.
Eggs. It's my favorite food. May you be blessed.
You say to them, we see you and we're here to help.
Please don't delay. Call, scan, or go online now.
Okay, we made it through the week, John, and we made it through the government shutdown. Finally, some good news coming out of this week. It was a long period of time, 7 weeks, and Americans were hurting.
Yes. Americans from all backgrounds, whether you talk about low-income workers, all the way up to, you know, specialized workers like air traffic controllers and TSA, and so many other government agents and individuals who the American people rely on. And you know what? They're saying never again. But the Democrats might actually bring us back to this same situation in less than 2 months.
Right. We could be back to where we were before January 30th. We keep mentioning that date because that will be the date to see if we have another government shutdown. But we're staying positive, optimistic that we'll be able to sort through all of these potential issues.
Exactly. I have great optimism and hope.
Yes.
But it's a bittersweet morning for us here at First Edition. It's our production assistant, Alicia's last day. Oh, look at that beautiful smile.
Wake up to Friends in the Morning, Perry and Jerry. Weekdays on Mornings on the Dove. Encouraging and informative, the Dove TV.
Sir.
You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings of the Dove, right here where we're all half awake.
Just trying to decide which half.
Yeah, what half? There you go. Anyway, good morning to you. Welcome to the Jerry Building Hour.
Yeah. We're hoping that half's partially awake.
That's the first half hour.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Well, you know, where's our storm? Got delayed?
Weatherman called for patchy fog, and boy, do we have it.
Yeah, we got it looks like a piece of cotton over the valley this morning.
Yeah.
We'll show you that in a little bit. But anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. A lot in the news, there always is. We'll get to that. Crazy things, there always are. And let's see here. What's happening? What do you got?
Well, first of all, celebrate. Well, it's Friday, and it is National Family PJ Day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, comfort comes in the form of National Family PJ Day, inviting everyone of all ages to wear their favorite pajamas for a pajama party, and you can do it all day long. You don't even have to go to
Walmart.
That wasn't hard. My goodness, I'll wear my best pajamas to Walmart. Come on, man.
So does everybody else. Sometimes it's not their best.
All right. And when you jump in your car, in your PJs to go to Walmart, snap your seatbelt closed because it is National Seatbelt Day. And they say that over 90% of Americans buckle up, saving an estimated 15,000 lives per year.
Good.
And we're part of that unique generation that grew up without seatbelts, at least a portion of our lives, and survived.
And survive. With no padded dashboard.
No padded dashboard. Mom reaching. Good morning, Mom. Reaching in the back to try to calm.
I rode the back of my dad's truck.
Isn't that amazing? We not only did that down country roads, but if a freeway came up, we rode in the back of the truck on the freeway.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
It was wonderful.
Oh, and we survived. How about that? You have a pickle. It's National Pickle Day. It's the only thing we have to eat. Do you like pickles?
I do.
What kind is best?
Well, it's called a butter something.
Yeah. There's a name for that.
Bars makes them.
Okay. We have friends that make pickles too, and she always puts spicy things in some of her pickles.
Well, I've had them all. Dill, sweet. They're all good. You know.
Yeah. The term pickle comes from the Dutch word pekkel, which means brine. In the U.S., the word pickle actually refers to a pickled cucumber.
Yeah.
However, there are just about how many fruits and vegetables can you pickle? There are a lot. I get pickled carrots. We get, obviously, we get peppers that are pickled. We consume about 5,200,000 pounds of pickles, or 29 billion pickles every year in the United States.
Really?
29 billion. That's more votes, just a couple more votes than Joe Biden got. 2020.
Come on.
The first pickles were believed to be created in Mesopotamia around 2400 BC, and they're mentioned in the Bible and in works of Shakespeare. And I don't know where the Bible verses are that mention pickles.
I'm trying to think, was it in Leviticus?
I don't know. What, maybe it is in some of the food laws.
Yeah.
And how do food laws encompass pickles? Where does that fall?
Who knows?
Huh?
Who knows?
Some vendors sometimes serve pickles on a stick at fairs and carnivals. They're known as stick pickles. And there's a trend in the United States to deep fry your pickle. Well, my shoe tastes good deep fried. You might as well pay. The pickle is wrapped in dough or dipped in breading and then deep fried. And what's not to love? So enjoy your pickles in your pajamas as you go to Walmart with your seatbelt buckled.
Hey, good little wrap up there. And by the way, pickleball didn't come from pickles.
Oh yeah, where did that come?
Pickleballs came from a dog named Pickle.
Oh really?
Yeah, the guy that invented pickleball was a grandfather up in Washington State. And his grandkids were kind of bored, so he went out and said, well, let's try this. And he created this small net with he went into his wood shop, he made hard paddles, he got the ball, the plastic ball.
Okay.
And he had these kids playing like a small version of tennis, but it's now known as pickleball.
Okay.
But the ball got away, and Pickle, the dog, ran over and grabbed the ball and ran off with it. So they nicknamed it pickleball.
Okay.
And that's a true story.
I thought it was more like the guy who invented it fell down, as many people do play pickle, went to emergency, and they said, what were you doing? And he said, I was playing this new game. And they said, what's the name of the new game? And he goes, pickleball.
No, but there's a reason there's now an independent orthopedic surgery center right across the street here. You don't go to the hospital more. You just go to a pickleball surgery
center. Oh, that's wonderful.
I think they ought to name it, pickleball surgery.
Yeah. A whole new branch of medicine.
There you go. All right, good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. Well, listen, he goes to, have you ever gone to worship practice in your pajamas?
No, I haven't, but on this National PJ Friday, maybe I will. We got it tonight. Uh-oh, what a thought.
Okay. All right. Let's do that. All right. All right, here's Mr. PJ himself.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rain likely mainly before 10 a.m., then cloudy with daytime highs in the mid-upper 50s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville with a light southwest wind. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and daytime high temperatures near 59 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 60 in Eugene with a southwest wind 3 to 5 miles per hour. In central Oregon, partly sunny in Prineville with a high near 60, partly sunny with a slight chance of rain in Bend and Sun River with lows in the mid-50s, a chance of rain in Boise, Idaho, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Along the Oregon coast, a chance of rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay, then partly sunny with a high near 63, partly sunny with a chance of rain and near 62 in Port Orford, 57 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog this morning in the Rogue Valley, then mostly sunny in low 60s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 58 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, mostly sunny with daytime highs in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog, then mostly sunny and near 57 in Wairika. A chance of showers gradually becoming sunny in low 60s for Redding and Chico and near 64 in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, a chance of rain and patchy fog gradually becoming partly sunny in mid-60s for Santa Rosa and Napa, partly sunny with a chance of showers in San Francisco and San Jose with highs in the mid-60s. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot this morning from the top of the hill. You can see the glow, and if you look real close, just below Mount McLaughlin, off to the east there, see that little layer of fog in there?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, we have that over the top of us. By the way, not all the valley is socked in, just kind of like the east side, which covers the airport.
Yeah, I didn't.
So we're a little socked in here.
I didn't hit it until I was on Agate Road this morning. So coming in Shady Cove, everything was clear up there.
If everybody sneezed at once, it'd go away.
Yeah, we had a little bit of wind yesterday, which created some issues, but it did get rid of the fog.
I want to do one thing before you go to Billy Graham here, and that is today I got the Salvation Army bell here in front of me, and this is the launch of the kettle drive for Salvation Army is today across the country, and basically the bell ringing. And anyway, I'll be ringing the bell at South Fred Meyer from 4 to 6. And in the last couple of years, the Dove, you folks are the best, because the Dove in 23 and 24 was the #1 media bell ringer.
Wow.
Okay,
wow.
So we're kind of back on the line again today. So if you're in the South Medford area between 4 and 6, if you come by and I'm ringing this bell, I'll let you ring my bell.
Okay.
That's the reason I wore red today, so I kind of look like a,
Yeah, I love it.
a little bit of Santa Claus.
I think you just got some takers. All right.
So anyway, come on by. And by the way, there's 2 entrances going into that Fred Meyer. If you don't see me, don't put your money in that pot. Come over and find me and put it in my pot.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, now time for a bit of encouragement with the Reverend Billy Graham.
The Bible says in Proverbs 12, the way of a fool is right in his own eye. There is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Which road are you on? The narrow road that leads to eternal life, or the broad road that leads to destruction? You have to make a choice. The scripture says, choose you this day whom you will serve. Are you going to continue to be a fool in the sight of God? Or are you going to become another kind of fool? The Christ fool, that the world will call a fool and call foolishness. Because you see, when you come to Christ, there's a price to pay. And one of the prices you pay is being misunderstood by some members of your family, some people in the community, some people where you work or where you go to school. And that's what Jesus meant when he said, come and take up the cross and follow me. You see, the cross that you bear is identification with Christ. It's not some special sickness that you get or some trouble you get. It's identifying with Christ and letting people laugh at you and being willing for them to make sport of you if necessary for following Christ. That's your cross. And if you're not willing to take that cross, you cannot be his follower, he said. Are you willing to take that cross?
Well, that's the big question.
Yeah.
There are fools, and then there's a fool. So which one are you?
What a prospect.
Are you a fool for Jesus?
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. This, I bring this as the top story here because there's a lot of stuff going on in the news today, but I just want to show you. And quite frankly, I'd like to grind into you a little bit more frustration. If you don't mind me starting the morning like that.
Okay.
But if they're going to shut the government down in the future, then they better not pay our lawmakers.
Absolutely.
And I think it ought to go one step further.
What?
That they don't get their back pay back.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know that each one of our Congress people, roughly over 43 days, made $20,000 apiece? While people went without food stamps?
Right.
While air traffic controllers went without a check?
While Democrats used people as leverage?
It just went on and on and on. Our shutdown cost the country roughly $15 billion a week in commerce.
Wow.
And I know this sounds political. I don't mean it to be. I'm just looking at it as trying to be intellectually honest here. Chuck Schumer did this.
Sure he did.
Okay, and hopefully he gets bumped for it. But the point being is here, if they don't come to the floor when they get back into session and put forth a bill to stop this nonsense, and you lawmakers don't get paid and you don't get back pay.
Right. You know,
so there was like $450 a day that they got. It's kind of like our own legislature going into emergency session, that the governor calls them all into emergency session. And that it was so embarrassing for them that somebody had to put forth a recommendation that you donate your special session pay to some charity so they wouldn't be stuck with the embarrassment of it.
Okay. Yeah.
This is what grinds you a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's the reason John, he's one of our favorites, John Kennedy. You know, very folksy.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what he said Chuck Schumer should be doing.
Yeah.
But he did mention that he would like to introduce legislation that says that if the government shuts down, that no legislators get paid. He would like to add on top of that a provision that says they can't travel outside of a 100-mile radius of Washington, D.C. So they get a call back. Now, he says, I doubt that I can do the second part, he says, but I think I can do the first part.
Well, I think you ought to just put a little addendum on it, and that is that they don't get it retroactive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That would really sting them.
All right.
All right, the other story is, remember the president decided to go after the BBC and sue him for $1 billion?
Yeah.
They got caught.
Yep.
It was really bad. Well, the BBC president has apologized to President Donald Trump. Said, sent a personal letter to the White House making it clear that they and the corporation are sorry for the edit that the president's speech of January 6, 2021, which featured on their program, and has no plans to rebroadcast the documentary. But the president hasn't decided whether or not to withdraw the $1 billion lawsuit.
Do you think that apology will be enough?
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Why?
Words are cheap today.
Yeah, you got that right, yeah.
And I think it has to carry with it a sting.
Yeah, yeah.
So how he does now, he may reduce it down to $500 million and settle for
$50 million.
Settle for $50 million.
You're right.
But no, I really don't think so. I mean, look, he's the one guy that has taken this whole media thing on, a thing called fake news, and made him eat it.
Yes.
So this is kind of interesting. I don't know if Pam Wilson can handle this next story. Saks Fifth Avenue is closing a bunch of their stores.
Oh, no.
Saks off Fifth is what they call it. It's kind of like their outlet stores.
Oh, really? Okay.
In Texas, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, they're all expected to close. Saks Fifth Avenue is planning to close just 9 stores across the country beginning next year. You know what's interesting about going to these outlet stores?
What?
It tells you how ridiculous the price is in the regular store.
You know what? You are absolutely right. The original pricing on you think, oh, you've got to be kidding me, huh?
Yeah, so you go to these outlet stores from the companies that sell it over on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay. Gucci stores, or you go to Fifth Avenue, you go to, what's the other ones, the big names out there?
Oh, you know, Macy's.
Macy's.
Yeah.
But anyway, you go to their outlet stores and you see it for like, you know, a third the price.
Yeah, and now I don't know too much of the Saks outlets, but Macy's, the rack, you know, or the Nordstrom rack, but Macy's outlet, I mean, they've got a lot of great stuff in there.
So I've been in Nordstrom's, the regular store.
Right.
They're beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And you go over and you look at a pair of shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And they cost more than your 401k. You go to the outlet store and you get them for $20.
Right.
What's the deal here?
Right. And of course, they leave that old price tag on there too. You think, wow, check that out. And my only trouble is they almost never have my size.
Yeah, well, especially on your right foot.
Yeah, well.
How do you get a pair of shoes that requires a ski boot on the other side?
Yeah, it's hard buying shoes 2 different sizes.
You know, I have to say, we had our big event here yesterday, and there you were standing up there with 2 different shoes on.
I was. Until everybody got here, I went and put on my other shoe that was a little more difficult to walk in. But yeah, I had a Hoka on one shoe and an Oxford on the other foot.
Yeah. You remind me of Kevin Lehman one time. When I walked in the studio there in Parent Talk when they were doing the show, you know, because I was vice president then of that company. And I walked in, and I said, Kevin, look down at your feet. He goes, why? And he looked down there, and he literally had one bright blue sock on and one black sock on. And he said, well, I thought that was Navy. And I go, okay, that's all right.
Well, I got to tell you, I was getting ready to do it, and Melinda looked down, and she looked, and she had this puzzled look on her face, and she didn't say anything. She's very polite.
Yeah.
And I said,
she said something to me. Wanted to know if you were on or off your meds.
You know, I kind of reminded myself of Grandpa Bilden. He used to be the kind of guy that he'd wear his eyeglasses, and then he'd get a bigger pair of sunglasses and put them on top.
There you go.
So, yeah, I'm kind of turning into him.
Hang in there.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, Pam.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to take a break. Maybe.
There is a spark, there is a hope that you can hold on to. There is a lifeline, come to the rescue, just like a hand that's waiting for you. And if you believe in this, I
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
It was devastating. I felt like a failure. I felt a level of hopelessness. I felt like the world was crashing down on me. I resorted back to what I knew, drugs and alcohol to suppress the pain. And so at that moment in time, I felt as though I was better off dead than I was alive. And I cried out to God. I said, God, why me? But then I felt like I heard a faint voice that said, is this what you truly want?
Friday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere. And everyone is your friend. The fishing is great. And the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, you can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Well, good morning to you. 21 minutes past the hour. Some regional news. Our own state of Oregon, for 2 days in a row, we've been talking about what's happening up in Newport, 4.3 acres next to the Newport Airport. Well, they had a city meeting up there, and the citizens are upset. A packed community meeting in Newport. Along the Oregon's coast, residents gathered to express a mix of frustration and anxiety about the relocation of the U.S. Coast Guard rescue helicopter operation and the federal immigration enforcement outpost that could take its place at the 4.3 acres, constructing temporary buildings, 12-foot fences, and apparently they are really upset about this, and they're saying to, the mayor is saying, we're going to do everything we can to fight it. Now, here's one of the concerns. You obviously have the pro and the anti-ICE people here. Mm-hmm. I think what they're concerned about is the housing of these detention people that are going to be there. And what happens if they get out? Who are these people? And do they want that element in their community? So that is pretty, that's what's happening up there. The people in Newport, I think rightfully so, they lost their helicopter operation, rescue helicopter. So we'll see. But apparently they stood up and spoke up loud and clear. All right. Yeah. Here's the story that is absolutely amazing. Yesterday, a bombshell federal audit in the state of California. The Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, reveals that California, under the direction of Governor Gavin Newsom, illegally issued thousands of commercial driver's license CDLs to dangerous foreign truck drivers. This week, the Department of Transportation announced California's Department of Motor Vehicles admitted to illegally issuing 17,000 CDLs to foreign truck drivers who do not meet the requirements. But they did it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now they're in the process of revoking the 17,000 CDLs.
And they would love to do it as quietly as they can. Unfortunately, people like you are shining the light on it.
What's interesting about this story is the Department of Motor Vehicles in California admitted doing this.
Yeah.
So, and this guy, Newsom, wants to be president of the United States. By the way, what qualifications does he have to do anything?
Well,
I guess he thinks this is kind of junior high school class, you know.
Yeah.
But look, this is absolutely. I'm going. Are you telling me?
Look at this.
Yeah. We've seen these accidents.
Oh yeah.
Are you telling me that? And by the way, did these people go to truck driving school?
Well, you know, I was wondering what the process was. I mean, how many illegals can you issue driver's licenses to without ignoring the lack of a background? That's a great question. Did they go to school? Did they have to take a driving test? I mean, how did it work?
I don't know, but if the DMV in California admitted to doing it, that tells me there was no prerequisites.
I don't know. Yeah.
I thought, okay, I mean, I've heard some pretty bad things, but this is really bad. So this just underscores one of the frustrations we have in this country. Who do you trust?
Yeah.
Who's telling you the truth? Gosh, that's a sad day. It's a dangerous, sad day. All right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on. This big, powerful storm, well, it seems to be going around us.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. It's partly cloudy today and low to mid-60s. Sunny tomorrow and 62, but maybe some showers on Sunday and Monday before a little bit of clearing again. So, half and half.
Huff and puff and went around it.
Huff and puff. Hey, were you aware that back in July, a new interstellar comet was discovered? And they're thinking maybe it is the oldest known comet, a brand new one. I want to know, how do you find out how old a comet is?
You ask it.
And hope it's truthful?
Yeah, well, okay. Go to its news department.
I love it. Well, on Newsmax's Finnerty, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy responds to this clip of Israeli Harvard physicist Dr. Avi Loeb being questioned about the mysterious comet 3I/Atlas.
Sean Duffy just posted this in response to Kim Kardashian, of all people, saying no aliens, no threat to life here on Earth. Dr. Loeb, can we say definitively now that this thing has come out from the other side of the sun, that this is not alien technology? Can you say that tonight?
No, we need more data. We need to observe it. That's the way science is done. We should stay curious.
No, listen, no scandal here. Again, Dr. Loeb doesn't have all the data. When we release it, we'll show you all of the analysis. Can I make one point on Kim Kardashian?
Please.
I responded to her because she has a huge following. And our mission to the moon, Artemis 2, is going to happen in February of this year. And then we're going to go back and actually land on the moon in a year and a half after. We've started a space race between Blue Origin and SpaceX. Again, they're racing against each other. It's fantastic. We are going to beat the Chinese back to the moon. It's exciting. And if you can get culture involved in space and in NASA, it's only good for the American people and only good for this next generation of missions that we're going to do. First to the moon, then to Mars, and then, to beyond.
There you go. Sound like Buzz Lightyear there, and then beyond.
Well, you do wonder about this outer space race between X and...
Yeah. I never really thought of it in those terms. We remember the space race between us and the Soviet Union, trying to get to the moon the first time. And now it's kind of like an intramural scrimmage going on to see who's going to win this one, because it's all on our shores.
Yeah.
But both of them with the intention of, as Sean Duffy said there, beating the Chinese this time to the moon.
So are you going to go up there and do real estate claims?
No, not at all.
Who's going to claim ownership of the moon?
Yeah. Well, you know what's...
I mean, it's not going to be like, the Gulf of America.
That's true. And if I was going to go up there and invest in real estate in the moon, I would go to the poles and I would start buying craters. That's where the ice is supposed to be. And if there's ice down there, you own the water.
Oh.
Ah.
Is there any fish?
Yeah, well, that has yet to be seen now.
So how do you distract Christianity and the belief in God away from humanity?
Oh, that's a great question. How?
Outer space intelligence, UFOs.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's one of the great all-universal deceptions.
Okay, go on, please. In what way?
How do you reconcile what the Bible says about Earth and humanity with something out of space that we can't prove exists?
Right.
It's all theory.
Well, yeah, that's true. And whatever is out there, we know God created. But we're a little, I think we fall down when we start to get into man's interpretation of what is out there. Yeah.
So what they're trying to say, there's higher intelligence out there.
Well, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know. But if there is, we know where it came
from. How do you reconcile that against the Bible? Because the only thing the Bible talks about in space are the stars.
Right. But God doesn't tell us
out there.
But God doesn't tell us everything, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, so I don't know.
Are there other Earths out there we don't know?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, you're supposed to know that. You're Jerry.
I don't know.
There's a reason you're on the morning show. You know everything.
Here's what I know. Here's what I know. There are things that just really make sense and line up, and that it's logical, and you say, you know, God, I see you working in my life. I see these things. Yeah, and you know it. And then there are other things that God says, trust me on it. So I say, okay, I'll do that.
Okay. So you kind of believe in UFOs?
I don't believe in them at all.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Oh, there goes one there. We'll be right back.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Washington Watch with Tony Perkins is your watchful eye on the nation's capital. Every weeknight, covering current events, issues of faith, family, and freedom from a conservative Christian perspective.
Who is really upholding the law? And
Tony is the president of the Family Research Council and your leading source for what's really happening in our nation's capital.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Don't miss Washington Watch, weeknights at 6 on the Dove TV.
Hi, welcome back. Good morning to you. 28 minutes before the hour. Well, Russia, they're calling it Pokey Putin.
What?
He just keeps poking his nose in.
Okay.
Pokey Putin.
Pokey
Okay.
Putin.
Well, now they're flying drones, Russian drones, over NATO nations, and it's causing all kinds of havoc. And just last night, I think it was last night or yesterday afternoon, within 15 miles of U.S. waters were some Russian ships.
Yes.
And that got the Coast Guard scrambled. So he's just irritating us. You know.
How did they get 15 miles before they got scrambled on?
That's a good question.
Yeah, man.
Well, it was way up there, you know, where birds don't even live.
Okay. Okay.
But anyway, Russia is getting a little Well, they're just agitating the situation. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch on this Friday, November 14th. We're going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. Israel and the U.S. dealt severe blows to Iran's nuclear program this year. Even so, Iranian officials are not giving up. They're promising to rebuild their nuclear power. Now concerns are growing in the Middle East that another war between Israel and Iran is inevitable. Julie Stahl brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Iran publicly displayed its ballistic missiles and drones for the first time since the war with Israel in June. This, as a report in the New York Times says, it's only a matter of time until another Israel-Iran war, since it's unclear how badly the U.S. strike damaged Iran's nuclear program. Ali Vaez, Iran project director at the International Crisis Group, told The Times that Iranian officials say their missile factories are working 24 hours a day because they hope to fire 2,000 at once to overwhelm Israeli defenses, not 500 over 12 days as they did in June. He says both sides believe another confrontation is inevitable, so Iran is doubling down on preparedness to produce a new equilibrium that will wipe out the sense of Iranian weakness. In the meantime, experts say it's unclear whether or not Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpile made it through the war. Iran says it's buried under the rubble, but Israel believes Iran's stockpile, which is enough to make 11 nuclear weapons, has been whisked away for safekeeping. Meanwhile, as the U.S. and Israel work on plans for Phase 2 of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, there's talk that Gaza might remain divided at the Yellow Line, with part controlled by Israel and another by Hamas. According to the Times of Israel, 6 European officials say the next phase of the plan seems to be on hold and that reconstruction will only take place in the Israeli-controlled area, which could lead to years of separation. And Hamas returned the body of another hostage overnight. The IDF says 73-year-old Meni Godard was murdered by Islamic Jihad on October 7th and abducted from his home in Kibbutz Be'eri into Gaza. 3 hostage bodies remain in Gaza. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says there is concern about violence in Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, that could scuttle talks in Gaza.
But yes, look, certainly there's some concern about events in the West Bank spilling over and creating an effect that could undermine what we're doing in Gaza. We don't expect it to. We'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen.
A handful of Israelis torched and defaced a mosque in a Palestinian village on Thursday and wrote graffiti messages on it. The move came a day after Israeli leaders condemned such violence.
Any incidents of lawlessness are dealt with to the full extent of the law. The IDF operates under strict ethical guidelines and international law in Judea and Samaria.
Government spokeswoman Shosh Bedrosian pointed out, on the other hand, Judea and Samaria are a hotbed for Palestinians planning and carrying out terror attacks.
9 major attacks took place in September, 8 in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria region, and one side, Israel. The security services were able to foil 105 major terror attacks. 9 people were killed and 24 injured in the September terror attacks.
The Israel Defense Forces also revealed they had dismantled a Hamas terrorist stronghold in the Bethlehem area. The IDF said they had apprehended more than 50 terrorists and said they had planned to carry out shooting attacks against security forces and Israeli civilians. So even though the Gaza ceasefire remains in effect, Israel is still dealing with potential terrorism in the West Bank and Gaza now, and the possibility of another major military conflict with Iran in the future. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
America's government is back open, but a return to normal could take some time. Millions of workers, services, and systems remain stretched as the longest federal government shutdown in the United States history is coming to an end. CBN's Brody Carter reports on what happens next.
After 43 days, the shutdown is over, but for nearly 1.5 million federal employees who went without pay, the big question remains, when will the money come, now that Congress and the president have agreed to keep the government open?
This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension.
According to the 2019 Government Employee Fair Treatment Act, furloughed employees and those forced to work are guaranteed back pay, but the money isn't instant.
Either way, the clock starts the moment the bill is signed and becomes law.
Attorneys predict a lump sum should arrive within the coming days according to the law, but for some agencies, it could be longer. To recognize the strain on employees during the shutdown, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced bonuses for some TSA agents who stayed on the job.
We are going to be handing out bonus checks of $10,000 to TSOs, to agents who work for TSA who served with exemplary service.
But for others, like air traffic controllers who also worked without pay, the shutdown's impact is still up in the air. The FAA is now racing to reverse flight reductions imposed at major airports. But airlines warn full flight schedules likely won't be restored until after Thanksgiving.
All right, get ready for that, even though Thanksgiving is one of the most busiest travel times of the year. So there we go. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the weather from a guy that travels a lot.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rain likely mainly before 10 a.m., then cloudy with daytime highs in the mid-upper 50s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville with a light southwest wind. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and daytime high temperatures near 59 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 60 in Eugene with a southwest wind 3 to 5 miles per hour. In central Oregon, partly sunny in Prineville with a high near 60, partly sunny with a slight chance of rain in Bend and Sun River with lows in the mid-50s, a chance of rain in Boise, Idaho, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Along the Oregon coast, a chance of rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay, then partly sunny with a high near 63, partly sunny with a chance of rain and near 62 in Port Orford, 57 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog this morning in the Rogue Valley, then mostly sunny in low 60s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 58 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, mostly sunny with daytime highs in the low to mid-50s. Into Northern California, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog, then mostly sunny and near 57 in Wairika. A chance of showers gradually becoming sunny in low 60s for Redding and Chico and near 64 in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, a chance of rain and patchy fog gradually becoming partly sunny in mid-60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. Partly sunny with a chance of showers in San Francisco and San Jose with highs in the mid-60s. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, there you go. We got this interesting little layer of fog this morning. Looks like a strip of cotton over the valley. The edges don't have fog, but down through the middle it does.
Yeah, so, you're right. Pushed over to that side of the valley.
There you go.
How about that? Okay, well, you know, we love stories about aviation history, especially aviation firsts. And boy, we have another for you this morning.
On November 14th, 1910, the self-taught aviator Eugene Ely made history, becoming the first person to take off from the deck of a ship. Ely's fragile biplane rolled down a makeshift wooden platform built on the USS Birmingham, anchored in Norfolk, Virginia. Moments later, he lifted into the air, proving that airplanes and ships could work together, an idea that would change military history forever. Ely's short flight lasted just a few minutes, but it paved the way for the modern aircraft carrier, now the backbone of naval aviation around the world. Sadly, Ely's pioneering career was brief. He died less than a year later in a crash, but his daring experiment marked the beginning of a new era when the sky truly met the sea.
He was a young, bold pilot.
Yeah. Yes. Never made an old pilot.
Right.
Well, you know, I tell you, landing on and taking off on an aircraft carrier is really something.
Well, he got another first, too. Right before he died, he was the first to land on a ship, too. But, you know, the thing I like about aviation history is, like, the guys that decided, hey, this has never been done before. Let's get into a plane and try this.
Just try.
Oh, my goodness. Oof.
I think the dumbest thing I ever did, I did a lot of dumb things in it.
Oh, no.
But I landed on a golf course.
What?
Yeah.
I thought that was Harrison Ford, you know, Eric.
No, he crashed on a golf course.
You actually landed?
I actually landed on a golf course.
Wow.
And Bud, my best friend, oldest friend,
yeah,
he his family owned a golf course.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I landed on this golf course in a Cessna 206, and I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I knew I could get it in, but I didn't think about getting it out, And it was on the fairway. But in the middle of the fairway, they had this little hump.
Oh, okay.
It was like, I think it was like a, I don't know if they had like an irrigation pipe underneath it or something, but there was a hump there.
Okay.
So I came in over the green, and what happened was there was this is classic, because down at the north end was this power line. So I came down a parallel to the power line. I turned and banked, came over the green, and I landed.
Okay. All right.
Now, if my boss knew I took his airplane and landed on a golf course, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So anyway, so Bud gets in. So I said, Bud, you want to go for a ride? And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay. So he gets in. And we take off.
Oh, gosh.
We're going down the fairway, and I hit that bump. And it started to fly, but it wasn't ready to fly.
Right.
I didn't have enough speed.
Okay.
So we came back down. Finally, I lifted off, and it's starting to climb. And all of a sudden, you hear this, what they call the stall warner. And it's a little thing on the side of the wing that if the angle of climb isn't good, it flips this little lever and it sends a warning off in the cockpit to let you know that you're about ready to stall.
No kidding.
So this stall warner's going off like crazy, and I'm looking out the windshield, and here comes that power line.
Oh, no.
And I thought, we're not going to get over that power line.
Oh, no.
So I turned at a very low altitude. I mean, very low altitude. I mean, now I'm playing crop duster. Okay?
No.
And we turned, and Bud's going, oh, this is great. He's having a good time over there. And I'm thinking, man, we're about ready to put it in.
Did you go over the line?
Finally, yeah, I paralleled the line, got enough and got over it.
Oh.
Again, that was one of the dumbest things I ever did.
I love it. Oh, man.
All right, so much for that.
All right. Confession's good for the soul.
Yeah. What do you say to people who love Jesus but don't want to go to church?
Get over it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca McLaughlin from Crossway, she says basically the same thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, here's what she had to say.
All right.
One of the metaphors that we have, the pictures that we have for the church in the New Testament, is that the church is Jesus's bride. And we see in that picture and in the expression of it, especially in Paul's letter to the Ephesians in chapter 5, where Paul calls Christian husbands, he says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So if we want to be followers of Jesus, if we want to be imitating him, if we want to be doing the kinds of things that Jesus does, at the center of that is loving the church. Now, Jesus is under no illusions about the sinlessness of the church. In fact, Jesus died for the members of the church because we were so sinful that we needed the Son of God to die for us. So the fact that we look at our local church or at the church writ large and see a lot of sinful behavior and undesirable people for one reason or another, isn't that we sort of have a clear-eyed view of the church and Jesus has this sort of starry-eyed vision that doesn't really see that. No, Jesus knows the sin of your local church better than you do. He also knows the sin of your and my hearts better than we do. And the radical message of the gospel is that the same person who is the one human being who knows the absolute worst of my heart and mind also loves me literally to the point of death. And so in order for me to say, well, I love Jesus and I want to follow Jesus, but I don't love the church and I don't want to follow and be part of Jesus's people, is sort of radical contradiction in terms, actually. Instead, if we are followers of Jesus, we will love the church like Jesus loves the church, which is in all her imperfection. Not because we rejoice in sin, ourselves or other people's, we don't, but because we see Jesus's extraordinary radical commitment to the church and his one flesh union with the church. And another metaphor that the New Testament uses for the church is that we are Jesus's body here. So if somebody said to me, well, I love you, but I hate your body, and I don't mind beating up your body, but I'm still going to say that I love you, it just doesn't make any sense. We know that if you love somebody, you must also love their body and treat their body well. So if we are not loving the church and treating Jesus's body well, how can we say that we in fact love Jesus?
That's probably one of the most brilliant, comprehensive answers to that question I've heard. That's really good.
Yeah, that was much better than get over it.
That's a seasoned worship leader that wrestles with tech guys and audiences say you play too loud.
Too loud, yeah. Now sound guys walk around with iPads so they can get into every corner of the church to see if you're too loud over here as well as too loud over here.
VU meters?
No, they have actually remote. We even have it here. Saw Dan yesterday walking around with an iPad. It controls all the. Controls the levels. It's.
Oh no, I understand that, but I didn't know if they had you members of your congregation with VU meters.
Yeah, and then I got my buddy Norm. He just walks in and says, "Turn down the bass."
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people come in with helmets on, you may want to reconsider things.
Now you know you have a problem when somebody comes in early and you're doing a sound check and they sit down in front of you and they look at you and then they go like this.
Yeah. Okay.
What's happened?
Mm-hmm. Okay, don't blame the drummer. All right, we'll be right back.
What would it be like if we learned to love each other? And what would it be like if we live like we believe that everybody matters? Because we're all here together and we all need each other.
This is Michael Brown, just dialing in from New Zealand to say a huge congratulations to you and the whole Dove team for what you have launched and debuted today. It's like absolutely incredible to see this new studio and the next evolution of what the Dove is and is becoming is just absolutely incredible. Thank you for your support of the ministry. Congratulations, Perry, and to the whole team. Well done.
Just when people needed hope, God would send a baby, a king, to offer a foretaste of a better future. But why? Why should we care? And what should the baby in Bethlehem mean to me?
Watch Why the Nativity, a powerful docudrama from David Jeremiah on The Next Turning Point, here on this station.
Weekends on the Dove TV.
When plumbing emergencies hit, and they do, you want help from a plumber you can trust, and you need it now. Onnit Plumbing to the rescue. Onnit Plumbing gets the job done right with integrity and quality craftsmanship. Onnit Plumbing offers military discounts, senior discounts, and discounts for KDOV listeners too. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Onnit Plumbing, CCB 229436. No job too big or small. Onnit Plumbing does them all. See us at onnitplumbing.net. onnitplumbing.net. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Cliff Connectley travels across America to give an answer to questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
So one of the reasons I believe that God exists.
Join him for Give Me an Answer, weekdays on the Dove TV.
All right, 9 minutes before the hour. We're hearing a lot of terms in our news today: socialism, Marxism,
social democrat or democratic socialists. Are these? Is that like an oxymoron?
Communism.
Yeah, communism. Yeah.
Okay, all these things. These are terms out there. Anyway. What's going on in Russia, and have you ever lived in a Soviet-run country, or a communist country, I should say, like the Soviet Union? Well, recently, Pastor Jack Hibbs sat down with, seasoned veteran Dr. Erwin Lutzer, and I see Dr. Lutzer at the conventions. We've had him on the show several times. He's really a super guy. He was the longest-serving pastor at the Moody Bible Church in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
He's pastor emeritus. Anyway, they sat down and talked about Russia because Dr. Lutzer just came back from the Soviet Union, and he said they talked about what it would be like if communism was to take over. And here's a little bit of their discussion.
Since we're talking about democratic socialism.
But what do you have there? Oh,
I have the Communist Manifesto.
There you go.
Because of something else that I'm working on, I've read this document very carefully. And what I have uncovered is so fascinating, we can't even get into it here.
Yeah.
But here's the word democracy. So I'm going to read. The communist revolution is the most radical rupture with traditional property relations. No wonder that its development involves the most radical rupture with traditional ideas. But let us have done with the bourgeoisie, that is the property owners, objections to communism. We have seen above that the first step in the revolution by the working class is to raise the workers to the position of ruling class and then establish democracy. So here's what you do. You destroy all of the people, the owners. You have to get rid of them because what Marx says early on is the heart of it is there's no private property. So all the owners have to be put to death because, you know, they own things. So you get rid of them.
Have that because they're creative and
there's so much we could say, Jack. When communism is implemented, what the people are looking for who are going to implement it are criminals.
Yes.
You have to be a criminal.
It's always been the case.
You have to be a criminal.
Yes.
And, there's so much else we could get into. But here's the point.
Let's get into it.
Well, let's get into it. But here's the point. So once you take the property away and you kill all the owners, then you have established democracy. That's what it says right here in the Communist Manifesto.
Wow.
How do you take property away?
I don't know, through high property taxes?
Exactly. And what we got going on in the state of Oregon with this 4.3 taxation thing to solve a $350 million process, this is about as communistic as you can get. Okay, so you tax people. One of the greatest signs, and I have it somewhere in my computer, maybe we could show it someday, shows this gentleman holding a sign in his state capitol rotunda. And he's basically saying this: I bought my house 25 years ago, and in the last 3 years, I have paid for my house again and again just in property taxes.
Right.
You cannot do this to people. You are destroying the American dream, and you are destroying democracy, the true sense of democracy. If we don't put a cap on property tax somehow, some way, and my suggestion is that we freeze it at the age of 65. You start there. If you don't start doing this, folks, it is the cancer that eats you alive.
I have the next step. You freeze it at 65. That's the first step. And then you do away with it at 67.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to offset that with something else. I mean, whether it's a sales tax or something like that. But if you go to a consumption tax, which is a whole other can of worms, but it does work, we just need to rethink this. But my whole thing is people work for the American dream to have their home, and they work 30, 40 years to pay it off, and then all of a sudden they're taxed out of it.
Right. Yes.
Crazy.
Yes, and it's happening more and more. Taxes. All
right, well, Leighton Gray will be with us. He's a lawyer from up in Canada, so he has a podcast called Gray Matter.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty appropriate.
All right.
I take with you the Gospel of Mark, chapter 12, verse 30. And you shall love the Lord your God. How? With all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind, and with all of your strength. That basically leaves nothing out. Try it today. We'll be right back.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Panoramic Moto Tours was born really out of my passion just to ride the greatest back roads and the scenic highways in our beautiful Northwest. God put it in fellowship. It's hearing each other's stories. It's being mutually encouraged on our journeys of life.
Riders can book one of our ready-to-ride guided tours offering the best of Oregon or Northern California. Or book a private custom tour tailored just for your group to destinations like Glacier or Yellowstone. For more information, go to
panoramicmototours.com or call me, Nick, at 541-622-3844. When you find something you love, you just want to share it.
panoramicmototours.com. Your next adventure starts here.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Wake up to Friends in the Morning, Perry and Jerry. Weekdays on Mornings on the Dove. Encouraging and informative, the Dove TV. You're tuned to the Dove. Encouraging and informative. Helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
And good morning to you. Happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Yes, this is where it happens, folks. This is Nerve Central right here. And the biggest nerve of it all is this guy right here.
I thought you said nerd.
I was going to replace the R with a V.
Thank you very much. All right, good morning.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. Yes, we're not wearing black and red for any other reason than I wore red today because today's the day we ring the bell for Salvation Army.
All right, yeah.
And Salvation Army, what they call the kettle drive, starts across the country today. And I actually thought it was next Friday.
I was hoping it was next Friday.
Well, I just got all my days mixed up. It got kind of crowded around here for a couple of weeks.
Boy, I'll say.
And anyway, so from 4 to 6 this evening at the South Fred Meyer, I'll be ringing the bell. So while I'm ringing that bell, you can come over and ring my bell.
Okay.
But there's 2 entrances over there, and if you go to the one you don't see me, don't put any money in that kettle. Come around and put it in my kettle. So for the last 2 years, 23 and 24, the Dove raised the most money for Salvation Army among all the media groups. All the other radio and television groups and all that. Yeah. So they use various people. It's a great cause. I mean, Salvation Army. We had Major Randy here for lunch yesterday.
Right, yeah.
I think he brought his whole crew with him.
He did, yeah.
And anyway, they do so much. And it took me a while to get into this, but now I'm into it. So from 4 to 6 tonight at the South Medford Fred Meyer, I'll be there ringing the bells.
Okay. All right.
I'll ring their bell. You come ring my bell.
Okay.
Anyway, good morning to you. A lot going on in the news. Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh,
and we'll get to all the ding-a-ling stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, we're going to start out with it right here. National Family PJ Day.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the day that invites everyone of all ages to wear their favorite pajamas for a party or, go shopping at Walmart. So, do you have a favorite pair of Snuggie pajamas that you like?
Well, I wear them when I'm cold.
Okay. Are they flannels?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Do you wear them outside the house?
Only if I'm taking the dog out.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about living in the country. You can do it and get away with it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Put on your pajamas, jump in your car, go down to Walmart, but put your seatbelt on because it is National Seatbelt Day.
All right.
Just over 90% of Americans buckle up, saving an estimated 15,000 lives per year. But we're part of that generation that grew up before seatbelts became standard equipment in your car. And we lived to tell the tale.
With no padded dash.
Yes, right.
Rode in the back of my dad's pickup truck.
I was in the back seat dodging my mom's arm as she's trying to discipline us while she's doing 55, 60 down the country highway. And we survived in the back of the pickup.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we lived through.
We did.
Yeah. And then
I used to stand up in the back of my dad's truck going down the freeway. Against a cab.
Yes.
Did you do that?
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
And we lived through it. And there was nothing to hold on to.
No, yeah. Oh, my goodness. And we made it. And
now
then
you get in a car, and there's so many bells and whistles and ding, ding, dings.
Right.
And buzz, buzz, buzz.
Oh, you can't not click your seatbelt because your dashboard is going to start flashing and dinging and the whole deal. And, it's funny, too, because we've gotten in the car before and we start driving away and it goes. And I just say, it's you, Pam. It's you, honey.
Yeah.
And then, I forgot. Okay.
I know. Ding, ding, ding.
And remember, the first seat belts were just the lap belts.
Yeah.
And then it became the 3-point belt, which was given to us by one of the engineers at Volvo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boxy but good.
Yeah, they gave it to him. Yeah, absolutely. So it works. Buckle up. And then go get a pickle because it's National Pickle Day.
Bread and butter pickle.
Bread and butter pickle. That's right. Thank you, Judy.
And Debbie Ayers makes those.
Oh.
Friends of ours down on the Klamath River.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she homemakes bread and butter pickles.
Well, bread and butter pickles traditionally are put on like hamburgers and stuff, right?
Yeah, they're just good.
I was going to say, why waste it, though? Just to eat them.
I like dill and sweet, but the bread and butter are just really good.
We consume over 5 million pounds, 5,200,000 pounds of pickles every year. And a rising trend in our country is deep fried pickles. You dip it in a batter and then you deep fry it? What could be wrong with that?
Well, I don't know. You can put dirty clothes in there and eat it.
Did you, my shoe. Did you know that Cleopatra attributed her good looks to a diet of pickles?
Really?
Yeah. Call somebody pickle face and see what they say. And cultural preferences, North Americans prefer pickles with warts, while Europeans favor smooth, wartless varieties. How about that?
So that gives new meaning to somebody saying you look pickled.
You look pickled. Now something really, really good on top. It's National Spicy Guacamole Day.
Ooh.
Yeah, you like spicy guacamole?
At times.
Oh, okay. It's wonderful. The Spanish adopted the Aztec recipe for guacamole and spread it across the world, adding their own ingredients like onions and cilantro.
You see those jalapenos on top of that?
Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. It's a great source of healthy fats, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, making it a very nutritious snack. The world record for the largest serving of guacamole is over 8,000 pounds. That was made by chefs in California. And guacamole is naturally vegan and gluten-free, making it a popular choice for those with dietary restrictions. And of course, you got to have some tortilla chips with it, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So enjoy your
looks good this morning.
Pickles and spicy guacamole. It is Friday. Enjoy in your pajamas. Going to Walmart.
There you
your
go.
Seatbelt on.
Yeah. Speaking of spicy.
Oh, no.
Does the weather here.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rain likely mainly before 10 a.m., then cloudy with daytime highs in the mid-upper 50s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville with a light southwest wind. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and daytime high temperatures near 59 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 60 in Eugene with a southwest wind 3 to 5 miles per hour. In central Oregon, partly sunny in Prineville with a high near 60, partly sunny with a slight chance of rain in Bend and Sun River with lows in the mid-50s, a chance of rain in Boise, Idaho, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Along the Oregon coast, a chance of rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay, then partly sunny with a high near 63, partly sunny with a chance of rain and near 62 in Port Orford, 57 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog this morning in the Rogue Valley, then mostly sunny in low 60s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 58 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, mostly sunny with daytime highs in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog, then mostly sunny and near 57 in Wairika. A chance of showers gradually becoming sunny in low 60s for Redding and Chico and near 64 in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, a chance of rain and patchy fog, gradually becoming partly sunny in mid-60s for Santa Rosa and Napa. Partly sunny with a chance of showers in San Francisco and San Jose with highs in the mid-60s. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of the south end of our valley this morning, and we do have a layer of fog that keeps moving around, and it's right down on the ground. I haven't heard any jets take off here, so it must be pretty low elevation, right down on the ground. But it's kind of moving away from the edges of the valley. It seems to be right down through the middle of it. That's the south end, so there we go. And we can see some beautiful clear skies.
Let me ask you something.
Ask me something.
Okay, I want to. Obviously, we're not hearing jets coming in or taking off. There are restrictions out there. Have you ever had an instance in your flying career where you had to set it down, or you had to go down in the fog?
Well, look, I have shot quite a few instrument approaches to minimums.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
And it's very nerve-wracking. And in those days, we didn't have what they have today. It's called, today they have glass cockpits.
Okay.
And modern airplanes will pretty much fly you to what they call the middle marker anyway. It almost fly you to the ground.
Okay.
But I was flying a six-pack, and so I got down, I think twice. I got to remember this. I do know one time when on my twin training I had to do it, but you come in, and if you don't see the runway at a certain place, you have to declare a missed approach.
Oh, okay.
And you have to have the missed approach in your head as much as you have to have the approach in your head. So you got to know, when you declare a missed approach, you got to know exactly what you're going to do next. You're going to climb to a certain altitude, to a certain heading. You're going to turn a certain degree, and you're going to get out of there.
Okay. All right.
So I've done that twice. Where I got down, one was in both of them were in Bakersfield.
Yeah, Valley Fog.
Valley Fog. I was going into Bakersfield. I got down to minimum, couldn't see the ground, declared a missed approach, took off, and we ended up going over to Tehachapi and landing in the hills over there.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but the other time I was getting my twin rating, and the instructor was with me, and I'm flying a Cessna 310, and I'm coming into Oakland.
Oh, all right.
And we got down to the minimums. And he said, "What are you going to do?" He's yelling at me. "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to declare a missed approach." "Well, declare it." So you have to call the tower.
Okay.
And that means you got down. We couldn't see the ground. You're in the soup.
Yeah. Oh.
You're in the Bay Area, which is highly restricted airspace.
Okay.
Went around. And we ended up landing in Hayward.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, but out here today, look, they have this thing called glass instruments, and I don't. I've flown a glass airplane, not much, but.
What does that mean? A glass?
It's like flying a computer screen.
Oh,
Instead of having these little round knobs in front of you, we call it a six-pack. Okay, now you got computer screens in front of you that do everything, and they're connected to the autopilot. It's really remarkable flying.
Oh, wow.
Even in small private airplanes, they got this stuff now.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
It's really good, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I mean, I went out with a guy the other day. It's a couple of years ago. We were out flying around, and he said, "Do you mind if I take a little extra time and we'll do a instrument approach?" And I said, "Yeah." So he set it all up in his dash, in his panel there. He set it all up. He calls the approach control, and if they're not busy, they'll let you do this. If they're busy, they'll put you off. So we were coming back from the coast, and we're flying over there, and he pushed a button. He set it all up. He pushed a button, and that plane flew itself to the outer marker, went out, did a standard rate turn, came back around, hit the outer marker, put it on a glide slope all the way down to the middle marker, took it all the way to the edge of the airport. He clicked it off and landed the airplane.
Really?
The only thing he had to do was power settings.
Wow.
I go, man, you talk about lazy flying.
I was going to say, some of us could do that.
Oh, gosh, I sweated through a lot of shirts learning how to fly, and I'm still alive.
Yeah, well, that brings up another question, and here is an interesting topic that I'm sure we're going to want to say something about, because someone once asked, did God call you into retirement? Billy Graham wants to talk to us about that.
And the story is told in Luke, the 12th chapter. Jesus told the story about a rich man in his barns. You remember he built his barns and he said he was going to retire because he'd made enough money now, probably going to go to Southern California, Florida, come here to Idaho, to this beautiful place and retire. He'd made enough money. And he said, "Soul, take thine ease, drink and be merry. And that night he had a heart attack. And when he was dying, there was a voice heard from heaven that said, "Thou fool, this night thy soul is required of thee." And the scripture says, Jesus said, "So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God." You see, he tried to find happiness in the wrong place. Money. He ignored the power of influence, in that no man liveth unto himself. He must have had a family. He disregarded death. He had made no provision for eternity. He had provision for his retirement. How many men and women I know who have planned for retirement, planned everything, but they haven't prepared to die, and they die shortly after they retire. It's amazing. I've thought about that. Some people announce their retirement, and you read 2 or 3 weeks later that they dropped dead of a heart attack. They thought they were going to have 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years that they could just take it easy and enjoy life. But it doesn't always work out that way. You better be sure that you have prepared to meet God.
Well, there is so much there. The only thing I can say is that the scripture says that your callings and giftings are irrevocable.
Okay.
So when God calls you and gifts you to do something, he never retracts it. Okay?
Yeah.
And the people that retire and die after retirement is because they took the purpose of their life and put it on the shelf.
That's interesting.
You want to die?
Yeah. Oh.
Get up with no purpose.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm starting to sound like Billy Graham. All right, let's take a look at some of the headlines this morning. We're way behind here. Let me give you a couple here. This story is it's going to be, I think, hopefully a bill that goes through Congress. But members of Congress, during the 43-day government shutdown, collected an average of $20,000 apiece. It was $476,600 a day that they received while they shut the government down. People went without food stamps. Air traffic controllers and other people got unpaid, and it cost us $15 billion weekly in economic damage, and over 60,000 private sector jobs were lost. Over 43 days, while the lawmakers still collected their checks plus. It's kind of like what happened in Oregon during the special session. They still got paid extra for being in an extra session to pass a bill to tax Oregonians even more. Now, I do know that Senator Kennedy is proposing something here.
Yes, he is. Senator Kennedy has said that he would like to introduce legislation that should the government shut down, none of the legislators get paid. He would also like to put a provision on there that they cannot travel outside of a 100-mile radius of Washington, D.C., so they can get called back in. Now, he said that he probably won't be able to accomplish the latter part, but he certainly is going to try and thinks he can get the non-pay part through.
Well, I think that ought to be retroactive. I think what it ought to be, take away the retroactive part of it. In other words, they get the money when they come back into session. I think they lose the pay, period. They shouldn't receive a dime for not doing their job. Okay?
Yeah.
But boy, this is crazy when you see those kind of numbers. No matter, people run for office for money, not for service.
You know, that's the truth. And we keep asking, how do these people come in with very little as far as what their assets are, and then when they serve for a number of years and leave, they're like millionaires? What's that all about?
Lobby money.
Lobby money, yeah. Can anybody?
NGOs.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. As you know, the president sued the BBC for $1 billion, or threatened to sue them for $1 billion because of a documentary they produced from his speech in January 6th of 2021. They took a speech and they butchered it and made him say things that he didn't say, and they got caught on it. And so he threatened to sue them for $1 billion. Well, some of the mucky mucks at the top of the BBC resigned over this because it was a hack job, and they finally apologized to the president yesterday and said that it's making clear that President Trump and he and his corporation are sorry for the edit of the president's speech of January 6, 2021. which featured all the stuff that they edited, which was wrong, and they have no plans to rebroadcast the documentary. The question is, does the lawsuit remain?
Ooh, I wonder, do you think that apology is enough?
Look, I think it's the right thing, but it's not enough. I think they need to pay, because an apology is also an admittance.
Yeah, right. And didn't a head roll on this one?
Yeah, 3 head rolls.
Okay, yeah.
3 top head rolls on this one at the BBC. I would say that apology is not enough. It's going to have to pay some. The paying money makes the apology official.
Yes, yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying apology for what we believe it as Christians and redemption. That's a different deal. That's between you and God. But when there is something as damaging as this, I think it carries a little bit more weight if there's something else attached to it. So.
You know, it's interesting.
I mean, you can go to court today and say, I apologize that I killed that person. Well, that doesn't excuse you from going to prison.
This is the president who ran, and we learned the term, and we called it over and over again, fake news, fake news. And in some instances, he was a little bit ridiculed for it. Well, he's not saying fake news anymore. He's just suing and winning. Over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Whoa. So shows you how bad it is. All right. So one last thing. This is a warning to Pam Wilson.
Good morning, honey.
Saks Fifth Avenue, they're calling it Saks Off Fifth, which is kind of like their secondary stores.
The outlet?
Outlet stores.
Yeah,
They're closing 9 of them across the country.
Oh.
So I'm sorry about that. The only thing about outlet stores from Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, and others,
what?
You go in there and you buy something for about the third the price they have it in the regular store.
Yeah.
Doesn't that tell you anything?
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes you go in there and you look and you say, well, I see why it didn't sell in the regular store.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But you're right. They can afford to sell it at that price, and I don't know. Yeah.
And anyway, but they're closing 9 of their stores. I think what it is here is just good old economics. I think shopping today is so much easier online that what do you do with some of this outlet stuff?
Boy, yeah, it's true.
Anyway, those are some of the top stories. We'll take a top break and we'll be right back. And I think the greatest miracle about the Dove TV was that the Dove radio audience heard about the opportunity for us to get a television license, and the Dove radio audience began to contribute to build the Dove TV. And the Dove radio audience donated all of the funds for us to finish building the station and getting it on the air long before they ever saw it.
The Dove TV, 15 years of providing encouragement and information.
Life is complicated enough. Why worry about what to do with your extra car? Skip the costs of maintaining it, storing it, insuring it, or renewing registration. Car repairs? Forget about it. Here's one easy solution to your car problem. Donate it to our station. It's fast, free, tax deductible, and if you donate, you're going to feel incredible knowing you're supporting quality programming. Interested? Just call this toll-free number or donate online. Thank you.
When plumbing emergencies hit, and they do, you want help from a plumber you can trust, and you need it now. Onnit Plumbing to the rescue. Onnit Plumbing gets the job done right with integrity and quality craftsmanship. Onnit Plumbing offers military discounts, senior discounts, and discounts for KDOVE listeners too. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Onnit Plumbing, CCB 229436. No job too big or small. Onnit Plumbing does them all. See us at onnitplumbing.net. onnitplumbing.net.
Okay, how you doing out there? All right, a couple quick things in our backyard. You know, the big concern up in Newport, Oregon, is that there was 4.3 acres at the little Newport airport out there, and the federal government comes in and leases the 4.3 acres, which was formerly a U.S. Coast Guard rescue helicopter facility. The helicopter facility has moved out. The feds moved in, and they want to lease it, and said there'll be some kind of a federal operation. They hire an organization out of Texas that comes in and builds temporary buildings and 12-foot fences. Well, come to find out, it is an ICE detention center. And the citizens are not happy. So they showed up at City Hall. Even the mayor says we'll do everything we can to fight this and to stop this. I think there's several concerns here. One is those who don't want ICE anywhere around. But the other one is this is a detention center. This is where you bring the bad people.
Right, yeah.
It's not a prison. It's just a slowdown spot.
Exactly, yeah.
So what is the security here?
Yeah.
And so anyway, Newport's kind of shaken by that, and I think rightfully so. So we'll see how this works out.
Yeah.
All right, this one is really amazing story. Comes out of California, and a bombshell audit from the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, he reveals that California, under the direction of Governor Gavin Newsom, illegally issued thousands of commercial driver licenses, CDLs, to dangerous foreign truck drivers. Went on to say that this week the Department of Transportation announced that the California, listen to this, the California Department of Motor Vehicles admitted to illegally issuing 17,000 CDLs to foreign truck drivers who do not meet the basic standards.
Yeah, they're unqualified. Yes.
And they gave them 17,000 foreign truck drivers. Now, there's a lot of problems with this. First of all, Gavin Newsom knew about it.
Sure he did, yeah.
Secondly, the department has admitted that they did it.
Yeah.
Will heads roll?
I wonder. Yeah, great question.
And now the feds are moving in, and they exposed the lies in California. And the 17,000 illegally issued truck driver's licenses are being revoked. Okay? Now, here's another problem with this.
What?
This sounds conspiratorial, so I got to be careful here.
All right.
But there is effort to have more and more foreigners drive trucks. Guess what you can put in a truck?
What?
Explosives.
Oh, well, true, yeah.
And who are they driving for? And are the companies responsible?
Oh, God.
Who hired these drivers did not vet them? I mean, this thing has got a can of worms. You talk about a can of worms.
You know, that's a great question, especially the vetting part. If these guys have CDLs, you know, how far back, what can a company do in vetting a person? How can you look at their background, and how far back can you look?
You see, that's a great question. And so who was winking and nodding here?
Yeah.
And even the companies, now I do know there's a shortage of truck drivers out there.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
right.
And the trucking business is kind of like the waves of the ocean and goes up and down, you know. But this one is really bad.
Okay, so this is another part of the Gavin Newsom record that he's going to have to run for president on?
Yep.
Is there somebody over in the corner making notes about all of this? $68 billion shortfall in the state, a high-speed rail to nowhere, 17,000 illegal CDLs to illegal alien. I hope somebody's keeping score so he can, and keep him to running on his record.
You just did.
Okay.
You got the job. Okay. Peg, you're it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's take a look at Wall Street for this Friday morning. And thank you, Preston, at Smart Lawn, sponsoring this. Thank you, Preston. Great guy, does a great work. The Dow's off 487 points this morning. Wow. The Nas is down 97, the S&P down 34. I think this has a lot to do with exposure to some of the stuff we're seeing, you know, the hypocrisy of it. And it's going to take a while for the government to recoup $15 billion a week. Wow. Gold's at $4,067. Silver's lost a few. It's at $50.62. Crude oil back up about 40 cents, $64.20.
The only thing going up.
Yeah.
Crude oil.
It's just crazy.
Thank you a lot. Okay, well, Transportation Secretary Pete Duffy spoke with Newsmax's Finnerty, and he responded to ex-Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg's allegation that he inherited a mess, and now Sean Duffy is messing it all up again.
So first up, let's review the record to add on to $80 billion for DEI and climate change.
During his administration, there were 85 near misses in the Potomac before the DCA air crash, and they did nothing to stop fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters from crossing paths, and we had a disaster. He lowered the standards of trainees at the FAA. Again, not smart. And then he focused on pronouns within the FAA. You know, a cockpit can't be called a cockpit, it should be called a flight deck. He wanted people to be called aeronauts instead of airmen. I mean, the list went on of stupid things that Pete Buttigieg did. By the way, the contract he's talking about, it's true, hasn't started, right? So he spent this money for 4 years, nothing's happened. So we are moving at lightning speed to bring in more air traffic controllers to fix what he left off for us. And we, for the first time in a very long time, are spending billions of dollars to upgrade the system that he didn't pay attention to. Again, it was breaking, it's brittle, and now we're going to replace the telecom. We're going to buy new radios, new radar, new voice switches. And by the way, I need more money from Congress to finish the rest of it. But real work done on the airspace that this guy completely ignored because he never showed up for work.
Yeah. It was Sean Duffy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't Pete Duffy.
No, Sean Duffy.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal, but he's bringing up the problem.
Yeah.
And our FAA equipment is antiquated across the country. Some places have been upgraded, most have not. Radar, all kinds of new equipment, keeping up with the technologies available that we need to fix this. We got too many people. At any given time, was there 1.5 million people in the air over the United States?
That's wild. Wow.
And that's a lot of safety.
That is.
So think about that. All right, we'll take a quick.
Pickles?
Bread
guacamole.
That's the spicy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want that on toast?
Yeah.
With.
Yeah.
Oh, Iron Gut here. We'll be right back.
I'll never need another. Jesus, there's no other for me to live is Christ.
Fall in love with Northridge Senior Living's classic contemporary beauty. Spacious apartments featuring private balconies, elegant gourmet-style dining under breathtaking chandeliers. We have on-site 24/7 in-home care and senior adult daycare, where your loved ones can spend the days with us and the evenings with you. Family owned and operated, we are Northridge Senior Living, a great place to call home.
The first show is really kind of emotional for me because all along I felt like the Lord wanted us on all the major platforms in the morning. When people get up in the morning, they turn something on. In today's world, they check their phone, they check their computer, they check TV, they check radio, and we felt like the Lord wanted us on all those platforms. The question I had for the gentleman that was helping us get on TV, could we get on TV and air the audio on radio? Could we combine the two together? And so the day came where we launched it. It was March 10th. We'd go on the air, and we did it. We did it in this little room, and 3 of us were on the set, Steve Johnson, myself, and Paulina. We actually act like we knew what we were saying and doing. We didn't have any monitors. The control room was in a room next to us with a little window where you could barely see in there. And we just got on the air and started gabbing, and it worked.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Okay, welcome back, and still a lot of problems in the Middle East, and just recently, now back in Europe, Russia is playing games again. They had a ship just off the American coast, 15 miles from our international water line. That forced the the military to respond. Coast Guard, I think, responded to that one. And then over in Ukraine and NATO countries, Russia's flying drones. Why are they agitating this?
I don't know. Yeah.
I know. They're flexing a muscle they don't have. You know,
Right.
I don't know what it is. So let's check in with CBN Newswatch and get caught up.
This is CBN Newswatch.
Thank you for joining us for CBN Newswatch on this Friday, November 14th. We're going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. Israel and the U.S. dealt severe blows to Iran's nuclear program this year. Even so, Iranian officials are not giving up. They're promising to rebuild their nuclear power. Now concerns are growing in the Middle East that another war between Israel and Iran is inevitable. Julie Stahl brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Iran publicly displayed its ballistic missiles and drones for the first time since the war with Israel in June. This, as a report in the New York Times says, it's only a matter of time until another Israel-Iran war, since it's unclear how badly the U.S. strike damaged Iran's nuclear program. Ali Vaez, Iran project director at the International Crisis Group, told The Times that Iranian officials say their missile factories are working 24 hours a day because they hope to fire 2,000 at once to overwhelm Israeli defenses, not 500 over 12 days as they did in June. He says both sides believe another confrontation is inevitable, so Iran is doubling down on preparedness to produce a new equilibrium that will wipe out the sense of Iranian weakness. In the meantime, experts say it's unclear whether or not Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpile made it through the war. Iran says it's buried under the rubble, but Israel believes Iran's stockpile, which is enough to make 11 nuclear weapons, has been whisked away for safekeeping. Meanwhile, as the U.S. and Israel work on plans for Phase 2 of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, there's talk that Gaza might remain divided at the Yellow Line, with part controlled by Israel and another by Hamas. According to the Times of Israel, 6 European officials say the next phase of the plan seems to be on hold and that reconstruction will only take place in the Israeli-controlled area, which could lead to years of separation. And Hamas returned the body of another hostage overnight. The IDF says 73-year-old Meni Godard was murdered by Islamic Jihad on October 7th and abducted from his home in Kibbutz Be'eri into Gaza. 3 hostage bodies remain in Gaza. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says there is concern about violence in Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, that could scuttle talks in Gaza.
But yes, look, certainly there's some concern about events in the West Bank spilling over and creating an effect that could undermine what we're doing in Gaza. We don't expect it to. We'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen.
A handful of Israelis torched and defaced a mosque in a Palestinian village on Thursday and wrote graffiti messages on it. The move came a day after Israeli leaders condemned such violence.
Any incidents of lawlessness are dealt with to the full extent of the law. The IDF operates under strict ethical guidelines and international law in Judea and Samaria.
Government spokeswoman Shosh Bedrosian pointed out, on the other hand, Judea and Samaria are a hotbed for Palestinians planning and carrying out terror attacks.
9 major attacks took place in September, 8 in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria region, and one side, Israel. The security services were able to foil 105 major terror attacks. 9 people were killed and 24 injured in the September terror attacks.
The Israel Defense Forces also revealed they had dismantled a Hamas terrorist stronghold in the Bethlehem area. The IDF said they had apprehended more than 50 terrorists and said they had planned to carry out shooting attacks against security forces and Israeli civilians. So even though the Gaza ceasefire remains in effect, Israel is still dealing with potential terrorism in the West Bank and Gaza now, and the possibility of another major military conflict with Iran in the future. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
America's government is back open, but a return to normal could take some time. Millions of workers, services, and systems remain stretched as the longest federal government shutdown in the United States history is coming to an end. CBN's Brody Carter reports on what happens next.
After 43 days, the shutdown is over. But for nearly 1.5 million federal employees who went without pay, the big question remains, when will the money come, now that Congress and the president have agreed to keep the government open?
This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension.
According to the 2019 Government Employee Fair Treatment Act, furloughed employees and those forced to work are guaranteed back pay, but the money isn't instant.
Either way, the clock starts the moment the bill is signed and becomes law.
Attorneys predict a lump sum should arrive within the coming days according to the law, but for some agencies, it could be longer. To recognize the strain on employees during the shutdown, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced bonuses for some TSA agents who stayed on the job.
We are going to be handing out bonus checks of $10,000 to TSOs, to agents who work for TSA who served with exemplary service.
But for others, like air traffic controllers who also worked without pay, the shutdown's impact is still up in the air. The FAA is now racing to reverse flight reductions imposed at major airports. But airlines warn full flight schedules likely won't be restored until after Thanksgiving.
All right, well, there you go. I don't know if you're going to make it to pumpkin pie or not, but we'll keep an eye open for you. All right, here's a guy that likes jalapeno on his pumpkin pie.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, rain likely mainly before 10 a.m., then cloudy with daytime highs in the mid-upper 50s for Vancouver, Portland, Wilsonville, and McMinnville with a light southwest wind. Moving down the Willamette Valley, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain and daytime high temperatures near 59 for Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 60 in Eugene with a southwest wind 3 to 5 miles per hour. In central Oregon, partly sunny in Prineville with a high near 60, partly sunny with a slight chance of rain in Bend and Sun River with lows in the mid-50s, a chance of rain in Boise, Idaho, then mostly sunny in mid-60s. Along the Oregon coast, a chance of rain and patchy fog in Coos Bay, then partly sunny with a high near 63, partly sunny with a chance of rain and near 62 in Port Orford, 57 in Brookings, and 61 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, patchy dense fog this morning in the Rogue Valley, then mostly sunny in low 60s for Grants Pass and Medford and near 58 in Ashland. In the Klamath Basin, mostly sunny with daytime highs in the low to mid-50s. Into northern California, a slight chance of rain and patchy fog, then mostly sunny and near 57 in Wairika. A chance of showers gradually becoming sunny in low 60s for Redding and Chico and near 64 in Sacramento. In the Bay Area, a chance of rain and patchy fog gradually becoming partly sunny in mid-60s for Santa Rosa and Napa, partly sunny with a chance of showers in San Francisco and San Jose with highs in the mid-60s. It's a snapshot of your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, still some fog out there, but it's diminishing ever so slightly. So, all right,
all right. Well, you know, we love aviation stories. Yeah. Aviation history is great, especially aviation firsts. And boy, do we have one this morning.
On November 14th, 1910, the self-taught aviator Eugene Ely made history, becoming the first person to take off from the deck of a ship. Eli's fragile biplane rolled down a makeshift wooden platform built on the USS Birmingham, anchored in Norfolk, Virginia. Moments later, he lifted into the air, proving that airplanes and ships could work together, an idea that would change military history forever. Eli's short flight lasted just a few minutes, but it paved the way for the modern aircraft carrier, now the backbone of naval aviation around the world. Sadly, Eli's pioneering career was brief. He died less than a year later in a crash, but his daring experiment marked the beginning of a new era when the sky truly met the sea.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. You know, I read an article once about fighter pilots who were carrier-based, and they tracked their heart rates. And when they went into combat, they tracked their heart rates, and they found out their fastest or highest heart rate occurred when they were landing on the aircraft carrier.
Oh, yeah.
That was the highest heart rate. They're out in combat, and they come, and their heart's racing when they come try and land it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, landings are, that's the big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Any landing you can walk away from is a good one. If you can take your luggage with you, it was excellent.
Putting it in perspective.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think about people that love Jesus but don't want to go to church? Well, this is the perfect response to that. Rebecca McLaughlin from Crossway addresses that subject.
One of the metaphors that we have, the pictures that we have for the church in the New Testament, is that the church is Jesus' bride. And we see in that picture and in the expression of it, especially in Paul's letter to the Ephesians in chapter 5, where Paul calls Christian husbands, he says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." So if we want to be followers of Jesus, if we want to be imitating him, if we want to be doing the kinds of things that Jesus does, at the center of that is loving the church. Now, Jesus is under no illusions about the sinlessness of the church. In fact, Jesus died for the members of the church because we were so sinful that we needed the Son of God to die for us. So the fact that we look at our local church or at the church writ large and see a lot of sinful behavior and undesirable people for one reason or another, isn't that we sort of have a clear-eyed view of the church and Jesus has this sort of starry-eyed vision that doesn't really see that. No, Jesus knows the sin of your local church better than you do. He also knows the sin of your and my hearts better than we do. And the radical message of the gospel is that the same person who is the one human being who knows the absolute worst of my heart and mind also loves me literally to the point of death. And so in order for me to say, well, I love Jesus and I want to follow Jesus, but I don't love the church and I don't want to follow and be part of Jesus's people, is sort of radical contradiction in terms, actually. Instead, if we are followers of Jesus, we will love the church like Jesus loves the church, which is in all her imperfection. Not because we rejoice in sin, ourselves or other people's, we don't, but because we see Jesus's extraordinary radical commitment to the church and his one flesh union with the church. And another metaphor that the New Testament uses for the church is that we are Jesus's body here. So if somebody said to me, well, I love you, but I hate your body, and I don't mind beating up your body, but I'm still going to say that I love you, it just doesn't make any sense. We know that if you love somebody, you must also love their body and treat their body well. So if we are not loving the church and treating Jesus's body well, how can we say that we in fact love Jesus?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to tell you, I think that's one of the most brilliant responses to that question that I've heard, and I really think that she makes some strong points there. Because I understand why a lot of people don't want to go to church because they've been hurt by the church. But there is no perfect church, and if you think there is one, the moment you walk in, well, that vision goes away.
Have you ever been invited to a church by a friend that you didn't want to go to?
Yes.
Me too. And you know what I did? I got over it, and Pam said, well, these are good friends of ours. We got to, let's at least be nice and go visit. I said, okay, so we went and visited. Like 27 years later, we're still visiting.
Oh.
No kidding. No kidding.
No, I think what it is church musical chairs have been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that'll continue to happen for various reasons, and I get that. But I'm also enjoy experiencing something that I may not like, only because I think it adjusts your attitude.
Yeah. Yep.
So, good stuff all the way around. All right, we'll take a quick break, and here's one for you. An old guy and a young guy talking about America.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah. It's not me and him.
We are desperate for your hand. We're reaching out. We're reaching out.
I remember somebody came into the studio when I first started, and they were puzzled because they looked at the mixing board that I work on, and there were all these little Post-it notes on it. And they were looking, and one of them said me, and one of them said CD1, and the other CD. And they were looking, and they said, Post-it notes, this doesn't make sense on a board. I said, I've never done radio before. I got put in here. So Pat Daly, who was the program director at the time, he lined me up and he said, this is your microphone. I said, hold on, Pat. I filled out a little strip, me, I put on that. He says, oh, he started laughing. He said, this is your first CD player, and I posted that one. And I labeled every channel, so when it was time, because we're doing live radio, there's no pre-records or anything like that. So when you hit a button, you had to hit the right button, and I had no clue.
The Dove Radio, 65 years.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
All right, we got to clarify this. This next story is about a younger person and an older person.
Okay.
It's not Jerry, it's not me. We'll let you decide what you
somehow I'm going to lose in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Dr. Erwin Lutzer, who I have high regard for. He's a great guy. He's a seasoned pastor. He's pastor emeritus of Moody Church in Chicago. Written a lot of books. He's a fun guy to talk to. And Pastor Jack Hibbs, they're sitting down doing an interview, and they talk about Dr. Lutzer's concern for America and what ultimately we must focus on as Christians. And here's a little bit of that conversation.
I'm very concerned about America. Tears almost come to my eyes right now when I think of what is happening in New York, and how this could become a template for all of America.
Yes, absolutely.
And so what we have to do is we have to pray, and I don't say that just because it's the right thing to say. We have to seek God. We have to evangelize, to tell others the good news of the gospel. But then we have to ask ourselves this question: where are we willing to draw the line?
Thank you.
What is our role? What does faithfulness look like? And every person has to answer that for themselves. Because, you know, to the wife who's home, to the homeschooler, that'll be answered differently than the businessman who sent me a text and said, can I sign this document? It had to do with, you know, transgender pronouns. I have to use the pronoun, the required pronoun. All of us have to answer. At what point are we willing to do it? And then there's a footnote. Again, if I might humbly recognize, we will not be silenced. I have a chapter on how Islam is willing to team up with socialists.
Absolute historical fact.
Yes, and the reason is not because they agree on worldviews, but they have a common enemy, Christianity and capitalism.
That's right.
And so what they are doing is, for now, we can work together to bring about the destruction of that. So to all those who are listening, don't let this shake you, because our faith is in God.
Yeah.
We should take it as a badge of honor if we're going to suffer for Christ. But at the same time, let's not be deceived and think, oh, there's a new sense of openness because of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. There may be.
Maybe.
But a backlash, I believe, I hope I'm wrong, is developing.
Yes.
And we need to ask this. And so the bottom line is this: Jesus died for sinners. We are all sinners. Our greatest problem is within us, not outside of us.
That's right.
Outside of us, there may be many injustices. But the deepest part of us is this, and we have to take much joy in the fact that our sins can be forgiven, our future is totally secure, and the gospel of Jesus Christ goes to the very core of who we are and brings about transformations.
Bingo.
Wow. You know, especially when he talked about Islam being willing to team up with socialism. Can you say Mamdani, New York City?
Well, yes. And,
oh, my goodness.
I received the most interesting pushback on trying to say, when I said that Mamdani was hiding behind socialism to advance the, what's the word I'm looking for? The very stern part of Islamic faith.
Absolutely. Yes.
The extremism, that's the word I was looking for. The extremism is Islamic faith. He's an Islamist, right, before he's a socialist.
Absolutely.
He's teamed up with socialism as a tool, a vehicle to advance his extreme Islamic philosophy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the most painful part about his election, that America's greatest city was almost completely destroyed by radical Islamists on 9/11. And they said we would never forget.
Absolutely.
And they turned around and elected an Islamist to lead the city.
Right.
I mean, we have, this is something you read about in history books of centuries past.
Yes.
We've lived it in our lifetime.
True.
And so I think Dr. Luther, I have high regard for him. He's a fun guy to talk to. And I've sat down on a bench with him at the NRB on several occasions. We chit-chatted back and forth. He's such a seasoned pastor. He's so deep in the Word. He's just a good guy. And everything he said there is just spot on. Anyway, so much for all that.
I got another thing for you I'd like to hear a comment on. You know, we're seeing this kind of this socialistic move. We saw it in Mamdani in New York, but Seattle just got a self-proclaimed Democrat socialist mayor in Katie Wilson. And she won on a razor-thin edge, but she beat a fellow Democrat. So you got Democrats running against Democrats for the mayoral position in Seattle. Does that mean that they're an open primary area? How does that happen?
I don't know the ins and outs up there.
Yeah.
But the Democratic Party is dividing over these issues, obviously.
Yes.
But before we panic, let us not forget God's in control. You either believe that or you don't. And secondly, that these blue cities almost have to go through this eruption to realize they're wrong.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe that's part of God's plan. It's kind of like, Sarah, you wanted this. I wanted you to have this king. You want this king? I'll give you that king.
Yeah.
Now live through the nonsense. And it almost took him out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it's kind of like, you know, it's a Romans 1 thing, really. It's what it is. So.
Okay. Well, you know, we've had a few rescue dogs through the years, and some of our dogs listen better than others. And here may be the reason why. Check this out.
A woman fostering a little Chihuahua named Nacho couldn't figure out why he didn't respond to anything she said, even offering treats and trying every trick in the book. But Nacho just stared back, completely unbothered. Then one day she tried something different. She spoke to him in Spanish, and suddenly his ears perked up, his tail wagged, and his eyes lit up with recognition. Turns out Nacho was a Spanish-speaking pup all along. The adorable moment was caught on video, melting hearts across the internet. Nacho had been found wandering the streets of Los Angeles with no microchip and spent a month in foster care with no adoption requests. But after the video went viral, a loving couple quickly stepped up to adopt him. Now Nacho has a home.
Nacho speaks Spanish.
Well, of course he does. He's a Chihuahua. What do you expect? With some guacamole on his
That's
food.
right. That's right.
All right. Have a great weekend. Be careful out there. Take with you Mark chapter 12, verse 30. Read it for yourself. It's powerful. We'll be right back. No budget. We didn't know what we were going to do. And this was the camera, one of them. We used 4 cameras. These are recreational cameras that somebody would have to take pictures of the kids on vacation. We had a switcher about this big, and we went to Lowe's and bought aluminum lights that had the clamps on them. So that was our lights. These were our cameras, and our mics came up through the table through holes. And that's how we launched.
The Dove TV, broadcasting 15 years.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Focus Today, focusing on issues affecting you. Join Perry Atkinson weekdays only on the Dove TV.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And of course, we talk a lot about relationships and family and marriage. And I'm really honored to have with us today Dr. Bob Paul. He's the Vice President of Focus on the Family's Marriage Institute, and he's the architect of what they call the Hope Restored Marriage Intensive programs there at Focus on the Family. He's a licensed professional counselor in 3 states. He has trained hundreds of marriage therapists and authored several books, including The DNA of Relationship for Couples. Bob and his wife have been married over 40 years. They have 4 children and 6 grandchildren. Of course, you can go to focusonthefamily.com. There's a picture of the cover of his book, and there's the picture of the landing page. So, Dr. Paul, nice to see you, friend. How are you today?
I'm great. Great to be with you, Fred.
You know, I have to say, just on the outset, we have been carrying Focus on the Family on the Dove since 1983.
That's great.
All these years. So thank you for what you folks do there. It's marvelous. Well, marriage. How would you describe, just kind of a 30,000-foot question first, how would you describe Christian marriages in America today?
You know, I think that very often they are doing okay. We've done some research. Unfortunately, I got a bit of an echo here. There have been some research that we've been doing that seems to be indicating that a number of Christian marriages are doing well, but we have heard that, and our research seemed to indicate that about 25% are struggling, and very few of them actually are reaching out for help, those that are struggling. So the good news is that about 80% of the couples that we're seeing, or 75% of the couples that we're hearing about in Christian marriages are doing fine, and report doing well. But there is a number that are challenged and really don't know where to look for help oftentimes.
Is there one reason or another they're in trouble?
There are so many reasons that they're in trouble. We do marriage intensive counseling with couples in crisis, and the variety of issues that people struggle with are quite vast. So I wish I could point to one thing in general. One thing that we do know that is true, though, and one of the reasons I think that our program is very successful is that oftentimes what we look to do, Perry, is to help couples or individuals identify the blocks that they have often inadvertently placed between themselves and the Lord. And again, they very often don't even realize that they're there. And what we do know, which gives us such great hope, is that our Lord will never hesitate to enter into an open, available heart. So part of what we do to help couples who are struggling is to identify where they are blocking the Lord's entrance and access, and encourage them and assist them in getting those things out of the way so that the Lord has unhindered access to their hearts. And it's amazing how quickly we see transformation.
That's wonderful. So, how would you describe, maybe in therapy you deal with this, but the saying two become one when they are two individuals?
Well, this is an area of quite a bit of confusion for many, many couples, because one of the challenges we have in understanding oneness is the fact that we are translating a concept from one of the original languages into English. And that word one means multiple things. And if somebody mistakenly believes that we're talking about the number one, and we did we go from two into one individual, we're really missing the boat. And that's an exercise in frustration and futility, because I deal with couples all the time. I'll look at them and say, I look at the two of you right now and I'm still seeing two. So if you're imagining one to be the number one, you're oneness failure. So what we want to do is help them to understand that the biblical understanding of oneness is not one, the number, but unity. It's one in spirit and in purpose. In other words, that we are committed to our Lord, and we are driving toward in our lives a common goal, which for me and my wife is to become more completely conformed to the image of Christ and to serve him well. And that is what brings us into oneness, or into spiritual unity with the Lord.
Boy, there's a lot there. Let me ask you this: do you find in your counseling that when they begin to struggle, one has a greater relationship with the Lord than the other?
It's common. That's not unusual at all. But honestly, even if both have good personal relationships with the Lord, oftentimes they don't have a good spiritual unity. They don't have a spiritual oneness, a spiritual connection together. And many people, I think, mistakenly think in marriage that just because I might have a great relationship with the Lord and my wife might have a great relationship with the Lord, that will necessarily translate into a spiritual, intimate connection. And it doesn't without intentional effort.
Okay, so I've done some lay counseling. I'm not a pro at this at all, but I've been stuck with it. Okay. Can I have your phone number? I'll give you a lot of business. But how do you deal with restoring marital intimacy when it's been isolated?
I think that the most important thing, it's a great question. I think the most important thing in restoring marital intimacy is to look at some of the ways in which an intimate connection can occur. One of the things that's really tragic as we look at the research that's been done is we're hearing numbers as low as 11% of Christian couples actually pray together. And that's a tragic number when you think about it, because if you ask many of those same people whether they pray personally, the answer would be yes. They pray, they talk to God, they are in communication with God. But one of the first and foremost things that I think is important for couples to access is the power of praying together and having, because again, I've got my relationship with the Lord. My wife, Jenny, has her relationship with the Lord, but we have a together relationship with the Lord. And it's different when we are together in God's presence and praying. So that would be certainly one of the foundational first things that I would want to encourage people to do. And since so sadly so few are, that's a big step in the right direction.
Why do Christian couples wait so long to get help?
Oh, I think that pride is a big factor. I think many people are afraid that it speaks badly of them. That there's something wrong with them, that they can't figure this stuff out on their own. And, the reality is, I think God created us to be in community and be in support of community. And there are just some times when we're caught in stuff that we just can't see on our own. And if we can overcome the pride that keeps us from being able to reach out, to be able to say, it's not a slam on me as a person that I can't figure this out on my own. Because honestly, Barry, our enemy is very skilled, and he knows how to hook us, how to trouble us, how to distract us, how to send us down the wrong path. And sometimes we're just too close to see it. And if we can just say, it's not a slam on me as an individual that I need some help here. It's just oftentimes part of the human condition in this fallen world.
Okay, I want to get off in an area here a little bit, only because I think there's something to learn here. But let me start by asking you a question. Do you think pastors are trained for marital problems today?
Most of the pastors that I talk to would say no. Matter of fact, they feel overwhelmed by the marital problems that are confronting them. I hear pastors say all the time, if I was to personally attempt to deal with all the marital issues that come my way, I'd have time to do nothing else. And then they don't have the training, they don't have the skill to know how to deal with those levels of complexity. And it's really, it's not their fault. I think that training is not something that a pastor typically has access to or has taken advantage of, because they've got their hands full with the many other responsibilities that a pastor has to face and shoulder in the scope of their ministry.
The reason I asked that question, Dr. Paul, is, and you probably experienced this at Focus on the Family, we'll get the call long before the church gets the call. They'll call us, and they'll call you before they call their pastor. What is that telling you?
Well, and the sad part about that is that if we can create spiritual communities that feel safe enough for people to reach out when they're in trouble, it allows the church to be what it's supposed to be. I'm part of one of the largest parachurch ministries in the world at Focus on the Family, and we are very, very aware that we can't be the answer. The answer has to be the local church. That's right on the corner where people live. It's the place where they can go for spiritual food and for community and so forth. And we want to resource and we want to support the local pastors, but we need our churches to do everything possible to be a place that people think first in mind that they can go to when they need help.
Okay, one other question before I take a break. The culture is producing a level of anxiety unlike anything we've ever seen. And sometimes the letting of that anxiety ends up being with the person you love the most. How do you guard yourself from doing that?
It's interesting. We saw such an enormous increase in anxiety and depression through COVID. And the good news is that it awoke people to the reality that it's close at hand for many of us. And somehow it got so severe that many people started feeling comfortable to reach out for help at a level that they hadn't previously. I think that it is so important for us to make it okay that we are human beings that struggle, and that there is a lot that is going on in the world that looks terrible, and that we feel ill-equipped, unprepared to be able to handle, and to somehow make it okay for us at any given point to feel as if we need to reach out and get help. I think one of the other things that's been so important for me to continue to remember, and fortunately I got exposed to this before COVID, was it's very easy to see all the stress that's occurring in our culture, the many ways in which people are at odds with one another, and to think that the world is going the wrong direction. The one good news that we have that we can keep close at hand is that the kingdom is advancing, and that we know as Christians that our Lord will have his day, and it is coming and it is moving forward, and we are watching God's unfolding of his plan and purpose, and we can feel comfortable and confident that he knows what he's doing and he's got this.
Great stuff. All right, let me say to our viewers and listeners, we'll take a quick break, but check out Dr. Paul's book, The DNA of Relationships for Couples. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there. The website, obviously, focusonthefamily.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. Where can they get the book, Dr. Paul?
It's certainly available at Focus on the Family and Amazon and anywhere that you can find books today.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Quality Fences, doing it right for you. Just ask your neighbor.
They reflect a style as unique as you are. They make first impressions. They provide space, add lasting beauty and security. Quality is a reflection of who you are. That's why all your fencing projects begin here.
Quality Fences, doing it right for you.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Welcome back, and honored to have with us today Dr. Bob Paul. He's the Vice President of Focus on the Family and Family Marriage Institute. I apologize, Dr. Paul. I guess you have a more recent book out, 9 Lies That Will Destroy a Marriage, right?
That's correct.
I apologize. The other one's been out for a while, so you can check that one out, 9 Lies That Will Destroy a Marriage. You can check that out, again, by Dr. Bob Paul with Focus on the Family. I was thinking through the break how to ask you this question, and I'm recalling something I ran into several months ago dealing with a couple that just, and again, I'm not a professional counselor. They just show up in my office and they want to talk. Okay, so here you go. All of a sudden, I didn't realize that one member of the couple was severely depressed, and the other one didn't recognize it. And the depression became, the pain of depression became the barrier. And you're the pro here. You can certainly unwind all that. But the bottom line is, are you seeing depression in couples these days?
Oh, absolutely. To your point earlier, I see both depression and anxiety on a regular basis. And you're absolutely right. When somebody is experiencing a deep level of depression, it's very hard to see much else beside that. Everything looks dark. Everything looks hopeless. And it's not like they can, a lot of times people just want someone to be able to snap out of it. It's like, you should be able to think your way out of this and think good thoughts instead and all those kind of things. And when you're really in the grips of a deep depression, it's very hard to function. And oftentimes it doesn't seem rational. Someone can give you a rational thought and you can go, yeah, I realize that, but still, here's where I'm stuck. So yes, it can make life and marriage very challenging for both parties. If you're the one who is depressed and you are the one married to one who's depressed. And it is absolutely something that is best managed by seeking help. Very, very few people are able to just pull themselves up by the bootstraps and pull themselves out of it.
So what I've discovered through this is that level of depression requires, obviously, professional help. I want to say this respectfully. It's more than prayer.
Yes. I would agree. Matter of fact, sometimes there are things that we can discover through talking through what's actually going on and understanding the origins of it and so forth. Sometimes it's hormonal, sometimes it's chemical, and there needs to be some medical interventions that are involved. Oftentimes it's spiritual, and there are spiritual issues that need to be addressed. I wish I could tell you that it was always one thing that would be so much easier to manage, but there are so many potential causes of an underlying depression. Sometimes it's the result of physical issues that are causing you to feel overwhelmed. There are so many different origins of a deep depression, and that's why it really helps to deal with someone who has experience in identifying it, in treating it, and even being able to identify where they're not qualified and they need to refer to someone who has something they don't have. But if you're the person dealing with it or you have a spouse that's dealing with it, trying to deal with that on your own oftentimes is very overwhelming.
You're certainly familiar with the book and the term love and respect. The other thing that comes out of here is how difficult it is when a wife loses respect for the husband. And it shows up in various ways. I mean, I get into these conversations and I'd rather have root canals. I can
imagine.
But it becomes obvious. I mean, you see it. What do you do, Coach?
It's interesting. One of the things that I struggle a little bit with the idea of love and respect is it suggests that all women need is love and all men need a respect, and that'll solve everything. And the reality is I've talked to as many women who want to feel respected as they do loved. And that seems to be a big thing. When you have lost respect for a spouse, it is worth trying to understand what it is about that's going on, what actually is going on underneath that. That's the kind of thing that we would address in therapy. And I often wonder, if both spouses understand the dynamic of what's going on, because again, as you're giving voice to, if somebody is if a wife has her husband dealing with a deep depression, and she thinks that he should just be able to overcome that, and there is something else deeper going on that neither of them can see, it's understandable that she would lose respect for him. I think that getting appropriate help under those circumstances is key. Now, if the person who's depressed doesn't want to get help, it's understandable that you would lose respect for them or isn't willing to get help. Oftentimes, they don't want to get help, but they hopefully would be willing to do so. But I think to explore the origins of those and let both people look at what's going on and where the respect is being lost, and is there anything that either of them are willing to do to address that, can be extremely profitable.
Is mental health, under the definitions of today, a factor in marriage counseling?
I think mental health is a huge factor in counseling today. And again, there are many, many things that contribute to mental health. Spiritual practices, mental practices, physical practices, emotional practices, the way you handle all of those areas. We're really called as adult servants of Christ to be attentive to all of those things. Matter of fact, when Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? He said to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, as we saw at the break earlier. But the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. And what he's not saying there is to love your neighbor instead of yourself. He's saying in the same way that you care for you, you need to care for your neighbor. Well, when you ask many people, how do they care for themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? Many of them are experiencing an enormous amount of personal neglect. And the Lord wants us to be full. Jesus said very clearly that he came that we would have life to the full. He wants us to be filled in those areas, and he wants us as adults to be responsible for the care of ourselves in all of those areas. And in the absence of that, there will be ways in which we suffer. In any area where there is personal neglect, there will be a corresponding degree of suffering.
So I'm going to run out of time. So what would you say to couples that are feeling distance, a growing disconnection? They both feel it, but they don't talk about it?
Well, I would encourage them to talk about it, and I would encourage them to get help. I think that where we were talking earlier in this program was in developing a spiritual connection. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would want to try and figure out how to manage life without the Lord right in the middle of it, both personally and relationally. So to pray together, to worship together, to serve together, to read God's word together and study together, doing anything they can to ask for the Holy Spirit's presence in them personally and relationally is such an important place to start. And then from there to be able to create a safe enough environment where they can connect emotionally. Because there are a lot of feelings that we all experience in light of the fact that we live in a fallen world. And if we don't know how to connect with our spouse on the emotional level, we end up being isolated. And that is right where the enemy wants us. Satan's primary tool in taking us out is divide and conquer. He wants to find a way to create a wedge between us and our spouse. He wants to create a way to find a wedge between us and others so that we are isolated, because in that level of isolation, it is where he has a heyday and we all suffer.
Wow, so much here. Again, let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Dr. Paul's book, 9 Lives That Will Destroy a Marriage. You may want to check that out. Go to focusonthefamily.com for that. I can't even imagine, how busy are you guys? I mean, I know you're taking tens of thousands of calls a month. What's going on over there?
Well, we're busy, and the nice thing is that the intensive program, our Hope Restored program, works with people for a maximum of 4 or 5 days. We do bell to bell for 4 or 5 days, and we're able to get people to a better place very, very quickly, as opposed to more traditional counseling, which has its place. We get to the root of things in a hurry because, people just get frustrated in how long it can take, especially in marital counseling where you're dealing with his issues, her issues, and their issues. It's a lot to manage in the typical 1-hour therapy session, where our program, yes, we have a lot of people calling because they want help and they want it now, and they need to feel enough of a breakthrough that they can feel some hope that there is a way that they can get to a better place going forward. And we do that every day in one of our 4 locations in the U.S.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Paul. You're a blessing. Let me say to our viewers and listeners again, check out the book, 9 Lies That Will Destroy a Marriage. His book that's been out for quite a while, The DNA of Relationships for Couples. And, of course, you can go to focusonthefamily.com. This organization is amazing, absolutely amazing. And we've been honored to be a partner with them since 1983. So good to see you, friend. Thank you. God bless you. And let's stay connected.
I love it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you today. I don't want to pray just when I need something or when things aren't going my way. I need you all the time, no matter what is going on, and I just want to say thank you. Even though things aren't perfect, you are, and your plan for me is. Thank you for your grace, for your mercy, for your unconditional love for me. And most of all, thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for my sins to prove that unconditional love. That even while I was a sinner, He died for me. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Twin Factor is brought to you on the Dove TV by Black Flag Armory. Firearms, gunsmithing, training, and the best prices in Southern Oregon. Twin Factor, weekends on the Dove TV.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital-Based Intervention Grant.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
The recipe for a great morning. Get plenty of rest. Spend quality time with God. Have a good breakfast. Then add a generous helping of Perry, Jerry, and Mornings on the Dove. They'll get you ready for the day with encouragement and information.
Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Here we are.
Mixing in the latest news, weather to plan your day, an inspiring reminder from God's Word, baked with timely insights and discussions on today's headlines.
Do you realize how many headlines are out there this morning?
Oh, man. And of course, lots of laughs, fun, and encouragement they're famous for.
That is no joke, Barry. That's not a joke. That's real. I've seen pictures of that.
To bring you a smile before you start the day. Make Mornings on the Dove part of your morning recipe.
Anyway, good morning to you.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m. only on the Dove TV and radio. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us. Get ready to experience evangelism like never before.
What did you have to do to come back like this?
Each time you come back, you get closer to God.
Ray, tell us about your past life as a Chihuahua.
Way of the Master on the Dove TV delivers thought-provoking interviews between their dynamic co-host team and captivating witnessing encounters.
Have you ever read the Bible?
Read the first page.
You haven't got past this page.
Tackling hard questions with biblical wisdom and bold street witnessing that will leave you inspired and equipped to share your faith.
Hey, why should I let you into my kingdom? And you say to him, because I was true to myself.
Each episode will leave you better equipped to carry the good news into the world in this unique, award-winning reality TV show that will leave you saying, I can do that.
My prayer life goes on steroids when I'm witnessing. It's like...
Learn how to share your faith with Way of the Master, Thursdays and Fridays on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back, and just honored to have this buddy sitting next to me. Think so highly of him. His name is Kevin Lamson. He's the founder and the CEO of Hearts with a Mission. And here's a man that obeyed God at all costs to follow what the Lord was calling him to do. And here we are all these years later, and you're so busy you don't know when it ends up.
I know. It seems like forever I've been out here.
I remember when you first started, and it was all with a passion because you were concerned about kids couch hopping.
Yeah.
And here you are. How many years now?
19.
19.
Isn't that nuts? We've gotten 19 years older.
So let me ask you this, just quickly. What is Hearts with a Mission, and how diverse are you today?
Golly, very diverse. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, I had no intention of creating all these programs that God's just opened doors, but we have a youth shelter for kids 10 to 17, which was the initial investment God did into our community. From there, we went to an independent living program where we manage 60 to 80 youth that are actually living in foster homes.
Wonderful.
We provide life skill training to them. We have a transitional living program for kids 18 to 21, teaching them how to exist, hopefully, on their own when they move out. And then we have Safe Families for Children. That's in 6 counties. That's a host home program for youth 0 to 24, but really it's a mentoring program for moms, dads. It's called Safe Families for a reason. Let's help the family become safe so, you know, the state doesn't have to get involved. And then our latest adventure is probably the one I feel the most passion for right now is our Hearts for Seniors program.
And how'd that come about? The story is pretty remarkable.
It is. My mom had a stroke, and I was talking to my brother about getting her some help. It wasn't like she needed a lot of help. She just needed somebody to sit with her and be a companion, if you would. And I was calling around, and man, it's expensive to do that. And I was, believe it or not, I was in the shower, and it was like God said, you know, what are people going to do if they can't afford to do this? And, you know, you ask that silly question, God, do you want me to do that? And then I kind of threw fleeces out there. Okay, well, I'll mention it to a couple people. I mentioned it to my assistant. She immediately burst into tears. Said, I want to do it. And I talked to Sharon Rush, our chief program officer. I said, what do you think about this? She burst into tears, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go to my board. Maybe my board will slow it down. And they just said, no, we want to do this. And it's just really taken off.
Okay, so what is Hearts for Seniors? We got a little bit of a video. Let me play this and we'll go back and talk. Here it is.
Hearts for Seniors, it's an elderly companion care program for the socially isolated, for seniors who are 65 and up, living alone in their own home. What we do is we recruit volunteers that they go out, meet seniors in their homes. They're able to take them to their doctor's appointments, take them to the grocery store. A lot of times they just want you to sit with them and just spend time with them, get to know them. They want to tell their stories. The other thing that we've done a lot is help them around their house, maybe some light housekeeping, and we've done a lot of yard work.
I see a huge, huge need with seniors. I think they're forgotten. They're a forgotten people. Really, who is helping the senior? And that's really where Hearts for Seniors is coming in. because you're supplying somebody to come in and clean their yards or their homes or do things for them that they need help with, and you're not charging them. You're just loving on them and getting it done. You just get it done.
I can say as it has changed my life, you and Hearts for Seniors coming in to my life at the time you did, it was absolutely perfect timing. I think that's so awesome that people can live their life and still help other people.
A lot of them say, well, what's different? What's different about your volunteers than this person that I paid for that was awful? Or what's the catch? Or, well, what do I owe you? What's the cost? What do you need from me? And it's nothing. You know, you're the generation that's given to us for so many years. Now it's our turn to give back is kind of how I like to explain it to them. Like, I'm just here because I want to be.
I was restricted to my living room and all kinds of things that I could not have even begun to take over. And my family passed years before, so I didn't have that extra support, but I found a second family in Hearts with a Mission. So it put my mind at ease and gave me that peace of mind.
It's one of the best organizations I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of them. I love it. I've never met better people in my life.
My thoughts have always just been, what can we do? Can we make their life better that moment? Can we take out their trash, or can we move a box for them? Or can we show them in any way that they are important and valued or loved and make their life a little bit easier?
We help them have a life again. We're just people loving on people. That's all it is. It isn't doing things. It's just being there, a silent voice to let them know that somebody cares. That's what Hearts for Seniors is.
Hearts for Seniors, it's an elderly companion.
Okay, there it is. Hearts for Seniors. Kevin Lamson's here with me. He's the founder of all of this. Hearts with a Mission, now Hearts with a Senior. This has exploded under your nose.
It has, and I think the most exciting thing about it is we help about 80 seniors a week with volunteers. This is all done with volunteers.
I was going to ask you how people get involved with this.
Yeah, well, you can just go to our website and fill out the volunteer form. It's in 6 counties now.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're one of the counties that we're serving, this is a great way to get involved. And it might be just an hour a week, but that might change that person's life.
How do you find them and how do you qualify them, if I can use that term?
Yeah, I think the qualifications are age, 65 and over. You have to have some place to start. And then they're socially isolated. Occasionally, you know, we are helping seniors whose family might live in the area, but abandoned them. They no longer are a part of their lives. But a lot of these seniors that we're helping, they literally do not have anybody, no one, and they just live alone.
So they have a source of income.
Yep.
But so this is a social calling.
Oh, it is. And Perry, I couldn't believe the need. I thought kids were bad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of need, and it is bad,
Right,
so
right.
I'm not sugarcoating that, but man, these seniors, they are a forgotten generation.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Of course, you know, Chad on the other end gets the senior that's homeless.
Yep.
That's a whole other amazing ministry that's going on.
Absolutely.
But you're dealing with those who have some kind of a life or an income, but they're isolated. I have to tell you this, I don't do it anymore. I'll send them over to you now. But I'll get several calls throughout the year to come do a graveside or a funeral.
Yep.
Because the only connection that mom or dad had left of anything that was spiritual was the Dove. And I thought, these are people that have even fallen through the cracks of the church.
Yep.
They once were involved, but they became isolated, then they became forgotten, and their only connection to anything spiritual was the Dove.
Yep.
I mean, it's a huge deal.
Oh, it is, and I think one of the neatest examples of a volunteer, what they were doing with a senior. He lived in Ashland, 80 years old, didn't know how to read or write.
Oh, yeah, tell that story.
And his volunteer taught him how to read and then taught him how to write his name. And for the first time at 80 years old, he was able to write his own name. And I just thought, how does that happen? But it does.
It does.
And talk about somebody's life that was changed, you know, just through that act of compassion. Because it's hard teaching somebody anything, let alone an adult, right? But no, it was pretty cool. We had a Christmas bazaar kind of for all the seniors. They came and we got them all presents, and he was there, and he just had a grin from ear to ear. And I thought, what a blessing that is.
Well, let me say to our viewers and listeners a couple things here. Go to heartswiththemission.org. That's the website. And whether you're being called to help children, young people, older teenagers into young adulthood, they have programs all the way up the scale here. And then they jump over and go to seniors 65 plus. I got to tell you something. You want to change your life, give of yourself to somebody else. It will change your life. And most of your organization runs on volunteers, both on the youth side and the adult side.
Yep.
You train them. They'll train you what to do, what to say, what not to say, how to get involved, because you can get emotionally connected here pretty deeply.
Oh, yeah, and it's one of those things, too, is that we go into the homes before a volunteer ever shows up to make sure the home's safe. And we're not going to send volunteers into areas that are unsafe.
So, thank you for obeying. When do you sleep?
You know, I've been sleeping pretty good lately. I don't know if I'm just getting old, but
I don't know.
I don't think God's done with me yet. I think
no,
he's still
I still remember your first building project. Gosh, I'll never forget that. How that just set the pace going for you.
Yeah, plywood.
Yeah, plywood. So now you have the facility in Medford. You got one in Grants Pass. I'm talking the youth ones now. Where else?
Yep.
Those two?
Those two, as far as, we have two in Medford now.
Oh, okay.
We have our transitional living program for 18 to 21 and the 10 to 17. And then in Grants Pass, we have 18 to 21 transitional living program up there.
Well, and also let me say to wherever you're listening to the Dove or watching the Dove, if the Lord is calling you to maybe get involved in something like Hearts for Seniors, get a hold of Kevin and his crew. Come up here and maybe spend a couple of days or come down wherever you are and see how that's done, and maybe you can put a branch in your area.
Absolutely.
Because it is huge, huge need, and it's very rewarding.
Oh, it is. Very.
Love you, man.
Love you too, Perry.
Good to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you.
All right, heartswiththemission.org. We'll be right back. We tried to get into television about 10 years before we actually got a license. And I was right on the verge of getting a license, and it was sold out from underneath us. And I thought, well, the Lord didn't want us on TV. But however, I saw the potential in TV. I saw the power of television. 10 or 15 years later, the opportunity came to us, and a gentleman woke up in the middle of the night who had a license. And he felt like the Lord said, you are to call Perry Atkinson at the Dove Radio. So he calls me up and he says, I got this television license, and the Lord's telling me I'm supposed to sell it to you. Out of the blue. I mean, I thought we were done. I didn't think we were going to do it. And that's how it started. You talk about God's perfect timing. Had I done television 10 years before we got into it, it would have been hugely expensive. God has perfect timing and everything if we just have the patience to stick with it.
The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for 15 years.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Okay, welcome back. I've been looking forward to having Leighton Gray back with us. He's the host of the Gray Matter podcast and the author of his newly released book of the 50 essays entitled Leftist Lies, Laws, and Liberties. And there's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen. On the last several visits, he was talking about this, and now it's out. He serves as CEO of the Alberta Prosperity Project and was named one of the top 50 lawyers in Canada on the list of 2023 by the Canadian Lawyer Society. He's a proud Canadian, conservative, and tireless advocate for the restoration of civil liberties guaranteed to all of us by first God and the rule of law. So he does have a website, returntoreason.com. There's a picture of the website, returntoreason.com. Leighton, good to see you, friend, and congratulations. You got it out.
Yes, it's great to be back on the program. I'm very proud of the cover, actually, that you see there, because it actually depicts the execution of St. Thomas More, who's the patron saint of lawyers. Wow. And, of course, if you know the story of St. Thomas More, he was given a terrible dilemma by King Henry VIII. He had to choose between his allegiance to his faith, which was represented by the church in Rome, and of course the allegiance to his king. And there's a great play and a film made about this that you've probably seen called The Man for All Seasons. And so St. Thomas More, it sort of tells the story a little bit of what it's like to be a Christian conservative lawyer in Canada these days. And so you can sort of tell a lot about what's in the book by looking at the cover.
If you need a place to sneak away to, give me a call.
Well, it looks beautiful there, in behind you there. It is. So, yeah, it looks like a beautiful place where you are.
Oh, it is. Wow. Well, first of all, congratulations. This is
a bestseller. I wrote the book because I felt very strongly that it was something that needed to be done, because there isn't enough really out there in terms of speaking the truth about what's going on in our world today, especially in the West, in places like the United States and Canada. And it tries to explain geopolitical events that are happening that are confusing and frightening people, but it explains them through a very clearly Christian lens. And so that's really the whole purpose and focus of the book.
Okay, check it out there at Amazon and online there. And Leftist Lies, Laws, and Liberties. And there, again, picture of the book. His website, returntoreason.com. In the book, you argue, and you just mentioned it, that Western civilization, as we know it, culturally and spiritually, is at a crossroads. How critical of a crossroads?
Well, I think it is an existential crisis. It's not the first time that we faced this. I was just reading about, for example, back in Germany in the 1500s, when Martin Luther posted those 95 Theses to the church in Wittenberg, and he was able to become an accidental best-selling author through the invention of the Gutenberg printing press. So that sort of sparked significant change in world events, and really, I think we're going through a similar situation right now, where and you know the title of the book is very intentional: Lies, Laws, and Liberties, because they're all engaged here. What people are sensing, especially in places like Canada, but in parts of the United States as well, especially recently under the Biden administration, is a disconnection between what is being legislated into law, which is essentially lies. You think of, for example, gender legislation, that type of thing. Legislation of lies, which causes a restriction of liberty. And this causes a very deep disconnection in the hearts and minds of people, because their expectation of what the law is. And remember, the law is supposed to be, our human law is supposed to be some approximation of God's law. And Aquinas would have said this is natural law. And what we're experiencing right now is a disconnection between the laws that are governing us and restricting our liberties and what we know in our hearts the law ought to be, and that is some expression of truth. And so that crossroads that you talk about is very, very critical, because you can see right now, for example, what Mr. Trump is doing in the United States and what Ms. Meloni is doing in Italy and Mr. Milei is doing in Argentina, for example, is trying to bring the expression of law back to some approximation of what we know to be the truth. And it's being met with incredible resistance, both in their own countries and around the world. And so especially in Canada, we seem to be something of a flashpoint for this intersection of history that you're talking about. And so these topics, what I try to do in the book is try to bring these down to the level of everyday life, so people can see these issues arising and how they relate to the bigger picture that's going on in our world. Because let's face it, we really are engaged in a good and evil struggle right now. Of course, it's an eternal struggle, but there's so much propaganda, so much false information that I think a lot of people struggle to make sense of it. And so that's really the purpose of the book, is to try to make sense of all of that so people can understand it, especially in a spiritual and a religious context.
Well, to that point, and I don't want to be too simplistic here, but some of the stuff that we're dealing with is so obviously and blatantly crazy.
Evil?
And evil. All right.
Yeah.
You kind of go, what? You actually believe this? So at the end of the day, isn't this really a spiritual battle that we almost are unprepared for?
Oh, we are unprepared for it. And the reason why we're not prepared for it is because we're not in our Bibles. I just had the pleasure of interviewing Dinesh D'Souza on my program. And he's created a documentary that's based on a book by Jonathan Cahn called The Dragon's Prophecy. And I strongly recommend this book to your viewers and listeners, and especially the film, which they can download online, because it takes, for example, what's happening in Israel and Gaza, and it connects all those events directly to what's indicated and prophesied in Scripture. It actually says, for example, that the serpent who is in the Garden of Eden is the dragon that's in the book of Revelation. And it actually, the word Hamas is actually in the Bible. It's a Hebrew word that actually means violence. And so part of the reason why we're not ready for this is, I think, is we're not engaged enough. We're too much in the temporal world, and we're not looking at events in a spiritual context, which is really, and the only way to do that, frankly, is to get into your Bible as often as possible. And if you are rooted in that, in Scripture and the revealed Word of God, that's how we're able to put on the armor of God against these principalities and powers that are really that we're up against there every day.
A couple quick questions before I run out of time. One more on your book. What is a joyful warrior?
A joyful warrior is somebody who, as I just mentioned, is somebody who puts on the full armor of God, who does not live in fear, who trusts in the Lord, and who realizes that they have a role. Every one of us has a special role. We aren't victims. We're not accidents. We are made in the image of God, and we all have an important role that we can play in our homes, in our families, in our school boards. Whatever we're doing, we can be someone who walks in the footsteps of Christ and who lives in joy. And I'm talking about joy versus this sort of pleasure and pain synthesis that so many people are trapped in. And when you look to joy and you act it out, that's when you realize your true potential as a human being. That is when you walk in the footsteps of Christ.
One last question's loaded, and I only got a few moments. How are things in Canada? You got a very interesting prime minister. The relationship between your country and our country has been pretty sandpaper-ish.
Yes.
And your own Canadian top general admitted and broke down and apologized for systematic racism in the military. You got some real problems up there.
We do. We've had an extension of what people experience in the U.S. under the Biden administration. And the bad news is it's very bad in Canada. We have our government is passing laws that will say that essentially quoting what it says in the Bible in Deuteronomy and Leviticus and the book of Romans about homosexuality, for example, that will be criminal behavior for which you can be prosecuted.
Wow.
So we have a situation in Canada where we'd actually be prosecuted in jail for speaking the truth. This is very bad news. The good news is, and it's sort of it's a good news, bad news situation for Canadians, is that this government is failing. They are failing hopelessly, and there are great signs of hope. For example, there was a man named Barnett, who's a member of Parliament, who actually said in Parliament, in Latin, just yesterday, that Christ is King. And I believe that when our leaders in Canada start to speak in those terms, as many are doing in the Trump administration, actually quoting scripture and invoking God, I think that's when the tide is really going to turn for Canada and Canadians.
Leighton, we'll get you back. I'm sorry for the short visit, but thank you. Congratulations. The book is entitled Leftist Lies, Laws, and Liberties, in that order. There's a picture of the cover of the book. Check it out online at Amazon. Check out his website, returntoreason.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. Again, friend, congratulations, and if you need a little silent stealth R&R, come on down to Oregon. We'll take care of you.
Thanks, Perry. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
See you later.
But when I first came, we